step to the final phase. Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-25-95-95-3. If you would like to call us and express how shocked and surprised you are that not a single person, not one person who attended the Second Amendment rally today in Virginia was arrested. Not one. But all of the fear-mongering about there being violence, and these were just white supremacist groups and everything else. And by the way, this was not for lack of trying, right? Obviously, we had the terrorists, one of them from Canada, who was arrested on their way to this thing, trying to start it off. Antifa was trying to infiltrate it to start some violence. They got caught. And I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, you got to be vigilant if you are involved in this Virginia thing, because there will be people who are going to try and bird dog you. They're going to try and infiltrate your ranks, and they're going to try and start violence and make it seem like you were the ones responsible. Friendly reminder as we start the program off this week. Antifa is responsible for more acts of terrorism and more mass shootings than the NRA is. Friendly reminder of that, okay? So you got all of these people out there, huge, massive rally. This thing was as big as advertised, if not larger. And the media did everything they could to lie about it. I mean, everything that they could possibly think of. And so just to give you kind of an idea here, Gabe Gutierrez. Now, Gabe Gutierrez, don't worry if you don't know who he is. Nobody knows who he is. But he's an NBC News correspondent. And he reports for the Today Show, NBC Nightly News, MSNBC, all of that stuff, right? So, Joe, cue my audio. I want to play something for everybody here. I'm just going to play this, and I want you to tell me what you hear them say, all right? All right, cool. What did that sound like to you, Joe?
A lot of people who are prideful of their nationality.
What were they saying?
I heard a lot of America.
The Pledge of Allegiance wasn't it? Let me back this up here. I want you to listen to this. And justice for all. Okay, so they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance, right? So this is a crowd in Richmond saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, Gabe Gutierrez, who is an NBC News correspondent, again, based in New York and reporting for the Today Show, NBC Nightly News, and MSNBC. He tweets out that video, which is 21 seconds long, and he says, chance of we will not comply from gun rights protesters in Richmond. Yeah, this is why nobody likes you, Gabe, and this is why nobody pays attention to what the media says about all of this. Now, I wish that were it, but it's not it, okay? There's plenty of examples of this. I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just giving you a taste of what the media did. The Associated Press Western region today. Gun companies are gathering for their annual trade show this week in Las Vegas, that is SHOT Show, amid slumping sales and escalating tensions over gun control efforts, and they link to their article. Slumping gun sales. So the Associated Press goes out there, they put out an article, post the article on social media about slumping gun sales ahead of the SHOT Show annual convention in Las Vegas, of which I will not be attending this year. And they are straight up lying. Now, do you know how quick it is to find out what gun sales are annually in the United States? It is about 20 seconds. And you can go to the ATF, you can go to the FBI, they've got all of the data. All you have to do is search for annual gun sales or gun sales by year. And that's, you get the answer. Okay, we're in 2020. The 2019 numbers are available already, all right? So the FBI says that the background checks with the NICS system, and again, this is the best indicator of new firearm purchases that we have. The FBI says that the background checks for 2019 were 3% higher, not than the previous year, the previous record year in 2016. Okay? 2019 is now the highest record for gun sales in American history that we have based on this information in the system, because obviously it doesn't go back, totally. So you've got the Associated Press out there saying that they're slumping gun sales when in fact they're the highest they have ever been. They're 3% higher than the previous high. December 2019 was the second highest month on record for gun sales in American history. And the Associated Press is out there lying to everybody about this. Now, not finished yet. Okay? Not finished. So they're going out there. What was it? Oh yeah, somebody actually, I got to get on my other Twitter thingy there. One of the people for MSNBC was out there saying that white nationalists were attending the rally. And of course, were immediately blasted on social media because there were no white nationalists that were there. If they were there, they certainly kept themselves hidden. Nobody had any idea what was going on, where they would be at, or anything else. But at the end of the day, you've got the media consistently lying about this, and they get caught lying about it. Routinely get caught lying about it. Why? Because they want to paint a narrative that they didn't want. They wanted there to be violence there. They wanted there to be an incident so that way they could go, see, look what happened. None of it materialized. Not one. This just came through now because the rally is now over, that not one rally attendee was arrested. So once again, you've got a massive gathering of Second Amendment supporters, and you have no issues of illegality. You've got no issues of violence. You've got no issues of civil disruption beyond what is legally allowed. None of that. People were open carrying outside of the barrier where they recently restricted being able to have a firearm. So they were carrying legally in the state of Virginia in accordance with their laws, okay? And like I said, it's just routinely you run into this where the media will try and paint this false narrative of stuff where they will even lie about what you're... First of all, I'm sure that there were some people who did chant, "We will not comply," like sheriffs routinely have been doing. We will not comply with illegal and unconstitutional orders to take people's firearms away from them. Yeah, good. Like I said, if you think in the United States of America that you are going to succeed in confiscating people's guns without there being bloodshed, you are sorely mistaken. That is not going to happen here. Like I said, the last country that tried to do it got thrown across an entire ocean. They came back one other time, and they got thrown across the entire ocean again. So this is not something that you can do in the United States of America. By the way, I think one of the most powerful things, and I'm getting a lot of attention on Twitter for this, on my new account, but I think one of the most powerful images from the rally today was pro-Second Amendment people carrying the Hong Kong flag. And if you remember, the protesters in Hong Kong carried our flag, and they sang our anthem, and they asked the United States for help, and we provided them with a lot of public support for doing so. And we did it. We returned the favor. I actually said returning the favor, hashtag Hong Kong, and it's got a lot of retweets and a lot of likes and comments on it, and I appreciate that. But I didn't find the post. Jack was a Prosobiec, I guess, over at the OYN network. He's the one that originally did it. I just retweeted it with a comment, but it's getting a lot of attention, and I appreciate that. That was a powerful image. Because there's a lot of people who are not in favor of firearms, were not Second Amendment supporters, who saw what was happening in Hong Kong. And they said, I get it. In fact, we had a whole conversation about one of those incidents where we actually had somebody who had said, I've never been a Second Amendment supporter, I've never liked guns, but now I understand why the Second Amendment is important, because the people in Hong Kong could really use that right now. But they don't have it. They don't have those rights like we have. They were given those rights by their creator, but they don't have it codified. We do. And that's what these rallies are about. So not one arrest of a rally attendee, not one, in spite of the fear-mongering, in spite of the lying, in spite of everything that has been happening today. Routine lies from the press today. I've captured a couple of them and posted about them and things of that nature, but it really is quite astounding to see these sorts of things happen. Even though we expect them to happen, it's still astounding. I mean, and then of course, you've got the reporters now super sad that people are angry at them for lying. Don't lie. It isn't that difficult. Don't lie. And you don't have to worry about people being upset with you. It's real. Well, I mean, you will, but to a lesser extent. Okay. And at least at that point, you can hold up what you posted and what you said and what you wrote and say, prove me wrong. That's all you have to do. Now, when you post things like that, yeah, you're going to get a bunch of brain dead idiots like Alyssa Milano and things like that out there who are going to repost your stuff. But at the end of the day, you have no credibility whatsoever. None. Especially when you yourself post these rally attendees singing but saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you're lying about what they're saying in that clip. We've got more coming up. We're going to actually hear from some of the non-white rally attendees who are also being attacked today because, God forbid, you should not be a white person to support the Second Amendment in spite of the Second Amendment having large and broad support, especially in the African American and Asian communities in the United States. We'll talk about that coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
You are. All right, can I get your first name on it, please?
All right, we're on a commercial break.
Better.
Janet?
Yes, darling.
Can you come here?
All right, I'll try to get you on there. Yes.
There's a lot of games I want that are free, so that one say get, and I click download.
You can download the golf one if you want. Just don't download too many because you're going to run out of space.
And I did 2 more. It's
But you didn't download that one. It wasn't downloaded.
There's 2.
Okay, I don't know how
They
to play
both
that.
say get.
Okay, but I don't know how to play that Pokemon game. But remember, you have a limited amount of storage on your tablet. Okay, so you can't just download everything that you want. You're gonna have to pick and choose. Okay. So if you want to do that one.
Can you have it download?
Well, honey, I don't know what this one is.
It's Pokemon.
I know it's Pokemon, but I don't know what the game is. Oh, it's popular characters. Okay, it's popular characters. So here's recommended for you. So let's go in here. So if you want let's not do the Pokemon one right now because I don't think you can play that right now. But if you wanted to do, there's a bubble popper. You want the golf one?
Yeah, can I have another one?
Well, did you download the golf one? I don't think you did. Here, let's see what you have. So these are all the games that you have on here. Okay. You've got a Pokemon Duel game, but I don't know how to play that, and I can't help you play that.
You just helped me.
Honey?
A couple days ago.
Okay, I have not done the Pokemon Duel one. I don't know anything about it. So if you want this golf game,
Yes.
that might be a little hard for you. That's like a grown-up golf game. You want like a golf game like I have?
Yes, that's why I'm trying to get the earphone.
Okay. We can do golf. So golf Clash would be good. That's like the same thing. Okay. There's not enough space on the device. You don't have enough space, honey.
I know what to get rid of.
Okay.
So
So here's the thing. These are all the apps that you have on there. So you click this, and then delete from device. Okay? That top one. So that's what you do, and then clear up some space. All right? I have to work though. Okay?
Okay. That one. No.
What?
I cannot get it to garbage.
Okay. Come here. Come here. Come here.
I'm trying.
I'm not gonna sit here and goof around with this the whole time. Okay?
I need to garbage it.
No, you didn't garbage it. You didn't do what I told you to do. 3 dots. Click the 3 dots. Delete from device is the top option. You select that one and it'll delete it. Okay?
Okay.
You tried to update it.
At Warren Chiropractic, they take care of many pain challenges.
I have neck and arm pain.
3 dots.
And tingling all the way down to my
Delete
fingers.
from
It
the
keeps me up at
From
night.
device, not cloud, device.
device.
Yeah, the top one.
Okay.
As long
Yeah,
as
I
you do
did
that,
it.
you'll be okay.
I did it. How much stuff do I gotta get rid of?
Get rid of all of the stuff you don't want. Okay?
Okay.
And then we can check it on the next commercial break.
So when I had to stop because of constant
So I
pain in my
just
back
don't
and
have a
hip.
lot of time,
I
okay?
tried multiple doctors, even physical therapy. No luck.
In the meantime, you can play
experienced
Sonic
Warren
because you're
Chiropractic.
connected to
Well,
the
I got
internet
my
now.
life back, and I
So
couldn't
I would
have done
do
it
that.
without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Don Warren. At Warren Chiropractic, our team is here to help you with physical therapy, massage, exercise programs, and of course, chiropractic. Let us help you get rid of your pain so you can get back to your life. We're located in Osceola and online at warrenchiro.com.
Take a good look around your office. Chances are it could use an update. Maybe a new chair or desk.
That's all the stuff I want to get rid of. Just those
Okay,
two things.
next commercial break, I will take a look at it and see if you have enough space, okay? But I can't right now.
The Office Bar may even take away your old desk so you
My
don't have
long
to.
break
Go to the
is
website
the
at
next one, okay?
theofficebar.com to see the
Okay.
vast selection of office furniture and various brands like Laurel. You can also visit the 30,000 square foot showroom to see all the options in person. There you'll find a large dedicated space of Laurel products as well as other new, scratch and dent and used furniture. It is said that new office furniture can increase productivity by as much as 20%. Imagine that. For an updated, more comfortable and productive workspace, call or visit the Office Barn and see the Laurel Diamond Dealer showroom. Visit the website at theofficebarn.com for store hours. The Office Barn in Goshen, Indiana, your Michiana Laurel Diamond Dealer where if we don't have it, you don't need it.
We've seen enough far too long. America has been turned upside down. Red versus blue, left versus right. And if a house be divided against itself,
You fix my audio, please.
so what can we all agree?
City or Commonwealth shall be. If the bills go through as proposed, they will not be enforced. They're unconstitutional. We support us holding the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Virginia, and hold the Constitution of the United States. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here we go.
News.
Your top stories, traffic and weather, weekday mornings 5 till 9 on 95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. We're giving you the updates on what happened at the Second Amendment rally in Richmond, Virginia. We have some more sound bites to play for you in just a little bit. We will head back to the phone lines here. If you want to call and join us and give us your feedback on this, 574-2595-95.3. Do want to thank R&B Car Company. And again, they have locations in South Bend and Warsaw. Plus, if you go to rbcarcompany.com today, you can check out their special promotions and offers. And if you do go to the dealership, make sure you let them know that you heard about them on this program, rbcarcompany.com. To the phone lines, talking about the Second Amendment rally in Virginia. Janet, welcome to the program.
Hey, thank you, Casey. Just wanted to say that my husband and two of his buddies are on their way back, and they talking with my husband today. They had an awesome time. I mean, it was almost very solemn, but also they felt honored to be there. But you know, I don't know all the different kinds of guns, but he mentioned, he rattled off some, and he said people were carrying, like there was a 50 cal, and it was just, but it was all peaceful. And there was a lot of fear mongering, and we had some discussions about that, but he just felt like it was so important to support the people in Virginia, and also because, you know, where we go one, we go all kind of thing. And if it happens there, it can happen in Indiana, it can happen anywhere. So,
Yeah.
but they had a great time, and it was very encouraging to know that, you know, they were taking video. They're going to post it on Facebook. The streets were very crowded. He said he's guessing thousands. I don't know if you've heard a number of how many people they actually think were there.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the final estimates. There's definitely thousands. Okay, I don't know what the final estimates are, if they have a rough estimate yet. But I do know that it's in the thousands. I mean, this is a huge rally. They said it's probably even bigger than what they were expecting. But it's certainly, they've said it's one of the most well-attended of these types of rallies that they've had. So.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And I really hope it gets attention. I was very encouraged to hear what you said about the Hong Kong flag. I had not heard that from my husband Bob, but you know, they're former military, they're oath keepers, and just really felt a passion to be there, and I'm so glad that they went. So.
Yeah, and I mean, on my new Twitter account, my very young new Twitter account, that is by far and away the most popular tweet was posting the Hong Kong flag at the rally. By far and away.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for giving it time on the air. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You
Bye-bye.
bet. Take care. And, look, you have to have these discussions, obviously, about whether or not it's going to be worth the risk of going to something like that. But again, it's important, and there's going to be a time for you to go ahead and take those types of risks. Let's see. Curtis Hawk posted about it. Craig Melvin, who works for MSNBC, claimed that thousands of white nationalists and militia groups were swarming the state capitol in Richmond, which is not true. Of course, all the people who are there, nope, none of this is true. It's an absolute and complete lie. It is what it is. In fact, this is one rally attendee. He happens to be a black man. He's there with some signs and everything. And somebody approached him and just asked, hey, are you a white supremacist? Now, keep in mind, he's a black man. Somebody went ahead and approached him and made that joke and just figured they would talk to him about being at that rally. You can go and cue up my audio for me, Joe. We're going to go ahead and play this for you now.
Are you a white supremacist?
Yeah.
Am I a white? I was told there'd be
this
white
ain't
supremacists.
Me, I got dreads.
Oh wow, you really are blackface. Like,
United we stand.
That's right, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
United we stand. But they mad because it wasn't no civil unrest. Now they gonna be mad because it wasn't no fight. Now they gonna be mad because didn't nobody get locked up. They gonna be mad because all the officers is at peace. They gonna be mad because ain't nobody out here fighting. They mad, but guess what? United we stand. That's what this was about.
That's right, brother.
I'm from St. Louis, and I ain't even had to bring no weapon. Don't need no weapon. Don't none of us need no weapon, but we got them.
We got it.
We got them. We got each other back. Why? Because united we stand. That's what it's about.
That's right.
United we stand.
That's right, bro. That's right.
White, black, Hispanic, Latino, Mexican, whatever. United we stand. They not.
And he continued, obviously, with that. He's fist bumping people as they're, going with the rally and attending the rally. But then there's another individual. This one got a lot of attention, I should say, and traction earlier from Breitbart when they posted this because they found him. Now, this is another black man who happened to attend the rally, and they kind of asked him why he was there, and he went into his spiel and why he was there.
Okay, why am I out here? Basically, I'm out here because I got roped into it by the group of guys you see standing to my right. But the real reason I'm out here is I do not support in any way, shape, or form Governor Northam's and the Democrats' gun control. What I also don't support is the fact that every news piece you've seen on this weekend, they've always brought up the issue of race, as though it's nothing but white rednecks and hillbillies out here who care for the Second Amendment, when actually Black Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Americans in general care about the Second Amendment. I work at a gun store part-time, and I can't tell you the number of customers I see of all races, all colors, all creeds, who care about the Second Amendment and who just want to peaceably live their lives, enjoy their rights, and the Second Amendment. So that's why I'm out here. And big media, mainstream media be damned. If you take a good look at me, you can see I'm a black American, and all I'm out here for is to enjoy my Second Amendment rights. That's why I'm here.
Great. And tell us about what do you...
All right, they go into more, but we don't need to play all of that. You get the idea. Now, this is also the Sheriff Richard Vaughn. He's from Grayson County, Virginia, and he was at the rally, and he was asked about enforcing these sorts of anti-gun bills in Virginia. And he gave a very straightforward answer as law enforcement, as a sheriff in the state of Virginia.
Or city or Commonwealth still be.
If the bills go through as proposed, they will not be enforced. They're unconstitutional. We swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Virginia. That's what we'll do. Outstanding. Yeah.
All right. Made it very clear. The Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Virginia make it very clear that you can't have these things. And we've heard politicians say, no, they will enforce it. If they don't enforce it, we'll call it the National Guard. The National Guard, we've already covered. They, in what I believe was a read between the lines sort of a way, said, yeah, no, we're not going to do that either. They, again, expressed reverence for the First and Second Amendment. And then they went on to say that we haven't been given any kind of orders or anything like that to enforce these types of bills. They haven't even been passed yet. But the way that it was phrased was very political, very diplomatic, but it also, in my belief, my opinion anyway, the way that I read it was reading between the lines that, yeah, we're not going to do it either. And you're gonna find a lot of politicians think that they have power over the American people, and they do not. When it comes to stuff like this, you're going to find a lot of resistance. So, again, glad that the rally went off peacefully. I'm glad that the groups that were trying to infiltrate it and cause problems were caught ahead of time. And I'm glad that the message was received. And I'm glad, frankly, that every single narrative that the media tried to set up over the past couple of weeks fell apart, fell right in their face. So much so that the members of the press today that I've highlighted and more tried to lie about what they saw there and were immediately rebuffed by the vast majority. We've got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. MNC.
Okay, what are you doing? What are we trying to do?
Okay.
Trying to get the golf game, is that it?
Yeah. I just deleted 2 things.
2 things. Okay, well, let's see if we got enough room for the golf game.
According to numbers provided by the Indiana State Department of Health. While flu activity nationwide is down for the 2nd straight week, it's still considered widespread in Indiana, with health officials recommending you get a flu shot if you haven't
You do not have enough, honey.
No, but there's something I want to get rid of.
Okay, just get rid of everything that you have on here that you're not going to use, okay? Get rid of all of it. Okay, don't open it. So you want that one gone? All right, delete from device, okay? So that's gone. What about Slither? This one.
No.
Monster one?
Let's do just YouTube. No. Okay, teacher monster.
You want this one gone?
Yeah.
Okay. What about this endless reader? Do you use that?
Not that much, but I used it today.
Okay. Well, if you still use it, then that's fine. After this, I would say that the Pokemon Duel one is the one that we should get rid of. Okay.
But
so
why?
let's try it and let's see, because that's going to take up a lot of space, and I don't think it's something that you're going to really be able to play. So let's see what we got. Okay.
It's because it's always been that.
All right, it's downloading, so it should be okay. So the golf game is downloading. All right. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. I go get a drink.
Me too.
You have water in your bag.
But I want to come.
No, you need to stay. Okay.
Okay.
Pompeo will also be with Venezuelan opposition Juan Guaido during his 3-day trip to Latin America and the Caribbean. America is listening to Fox News.
Timetable Kids. Hey, I'm really hungry. I know. Let's go to the front table. It's really good.
Now, your food experts, specialists, first warning forecast.
More clouds and sunshine for today, with temperatures warming up to 26 degrees, and we have a chance of maybe a flurry or 2. Otherwise, for tonight, we drop down to 18 degrees with partly cloudy skies tomorrow, and a daytime high reaching upwards of 32 degrees, and we hang on to the sunshine for Wednesday. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Lincoln.
This is Who's Your Act Today's Monday Farm Market Update. The markets are closed today for the Martin Luther King holiday. A bump up in corn on Friday. Bob Utterback is here from Utterback Marketing Services. Once we get back to trading later tonight, where will the markets head this week, Bob?
I fear it's going to be a very choppy week. Looking for technical follow through from last week, bounce on Friday. But if there's no fall through in beans, I think everybody will be looking at South American weather patterns and farmer product movement. And I think both factors will keep the market very range bound. One thing that would be a bullish surprise is if China would come in with some type of short-term unite the market. But I would suggest to you that the upside potential for China purchase is probably going to be delayed until closer to the February 14th implementation time period. I don't expect any big surprises in purchase in the next couple of weeks.
That's Bob Utterback. Again, the markets were closed today for the Martin Luther King holiday. I'm Andy Eubank. Who's Your Act Today? Timely, relevant.
Just keep an eye on it. When it says you can open it, you can open it. All right, folks. Sorry about that. All right.
Dada, do you get long breaks?
It's about 5 or 6 minutes.
Why do we got Martin Luther King? Janine says it's not his birthday.
No, it's not his. It's technically not his birthday, but we celebrate it.
development and manufacture cost of new technology. And get your sea legs on. Princess Cruises is kicking off a 111-day around
Moving on. Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? Can I ask what you're calling about, please?
Dada,
Yo.
my tummy's too small. It only fits right there.
Okay.
Can I make it tighter?
Yes, of course you can make it tighter.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack.
Unfortunately, sir, we're not taking any more callers on the
I will
topic.
talk about it again in the 5 o'clock hour.
But we will be talking about it again in the 5 o'clock hour.
So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
Okay.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter
Okay. I'll pass that on to him.
Try ZipRecruiter for free at
Thank you.
ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I didn't see that drone footage. The drone footage would give you a pretty good estimate based on the grid system. It's NBC News. At tense Virginia rally, demonstrators reject extremism. There was nothing tense about it. Literally nothing tense about it.
Our recipes range from classics to everything outside the box. We are 99% gluten-free. We cater to all dietary lifestyle needs, options, and whatever you may have. People are not just concerned about what they're eating, but what goes in their body. There's no artificial flavors or colors or preservatives. So everything is clean and you just feel good.
Did you get it, babe?
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
Wait, are you going to go on your...
I'm going to be on the air here in a second.
At Capital One, you can open
Aww.
in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average.
One.
Capital One means 5 times the savings.
Just a second.
Honey, it's about a minute. I'm going to be on the air. Okay?
Okay.
Less than.
Or 5 times the savings toward your
How much seconds is a minute?
60 seconds is in a minute.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Goals come true. This is banking reimagined. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rates. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy intimacy, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement.
Dude.
Just take 1 capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients.
All right, I'm going to have
that
some more
rapidly
audio
boost
here.
nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
Looking for a way to get a new
Ageless Male is so popular, it's in Walmart now. Yes, honey.
It's time to go to on the air.
Honey, I'm going to be on air in a second. What do you need?
I counted on 60 seconds.
Well, it was just an estimate, honey. It wasn't an exact time.
Okay.
That's why I said about a minute. We're getting ready to go back on.
Okay.
I will almost always say, here we go, and then you'll understand, okay?
Okay.
Start your next project today at Menards and save 11% off.
I'm going to try and make it easy on you.
Look how good I did. I'm right by the pool already.
Good job.
Man, all the other
Just remember, you can't yell like that when I'm talking, okay?
Okay.
And save with 11% off now at Menards. 11% off good through Saturday, January.
Aww.
Savings are available
Right here.
exclusions apply. See store for details.
All right, here we go.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. You probably can't hear it, but if you hear gurgling that sounds like a bong, that is just my coffee pot. It is. There's nothing. We're on the Indiana side of the border. Everything that we do on the Indiana side of the border is Indiana law compliant, ladies and gentlemen. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. Again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Also want to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company. They are located in South Bend and Warsaw. They've got dealerships, multiple locations, a tremendous selection of cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, crossovers, you name it. even some motorcycles. Go to rbcarcompany.com for special promotions and offers. And, of course, if you go to the dealership, make sure you let them know you heard about them on this show. Okay. Do you remember after the hurricane in Puerto Rico, and we had, I forget who it was that was talking. I don't know if it was like the mayor or whatever, but she was talking about how President Trump was not sending any aid to Puerto Rico. Do you remember that? And she was talking about that in front of pallets of aid. You remember? And she was trying to say that no aid was getting there, and she's doing it literally. There's pallets of aid right behind her. Of course, the president called her a liar, and he was right. We ended up proving that after the hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Maria or something, after that we had all of this aid that was getting there, and it wasn't being distributed. We ended up finding that out. Now, this is, again, 2 years ago, I think it was? So I told you at the time, I said, I want you to remember this because most Americans don't know how corrupt the government of Puerto Rico is, right? And I think what's happened as time has progressed, most of you who are genuinely interested in figuring out what was happening in Puerto Rico were probably made aware of how corrupt the Puerto Rican government is. There's a lot of folks, however, who still chose to believe that it was all Trump. And there was a reason that there was no aid getting to where it was going and that there were so many problems in reconstruction and all of that. Now, here is NBC Nightly News, okay? Give my audio for me, please. I want you to listen to this story because this broke over the weekend.
With a crowbar, they cranked open the warehouse. Then applause raining down from an infuriated crowd. Tonight, thousands of Puerto Ricans suffering from the aftermath of powerful earthquakes just discovered there's an entire warehouse full of items donated following the wrath of Hurricane Maria. The cache of goods located just miles from the epicenter of the latest quake on Puerto Rico's southwest coast has been sitting there for nearly a year.
Meeting.
Diapers, baby food, sanitary wipes, bottles, and pacifiers.
Meeting.
Outside the complex, a desperate crowd cannot understand how all this help could be right in their backyard the whole time.
It's like, how can this be happening?
Rafael Gonzalez's group, Profesa, collected supplies to help Hurricane Maria victims and is now doing the same for those devastated by the earthquakes.
What is the human impact of this mistake?
We saw it on Maria. We saw what happens when you don't deliver the supplies that people need. People die.
Puerto Rico's Secretary of State saying this ruins our credibility and the humanitarian effort. The governor fired several top officials, including the director of emergency management, within the last 24 hours, and tonight vows to hold others accountable. But the ensuing investigation of little solace to those suffering, and now a puzzling oversight in the middle of a disaster zone.
Oversight. Yeah. Okay. It was a mistake and it was oversight. Yeah. No, it was corruption is what it was. So this warehouse, when you see the video, and I will include this in the Daily Show Prep today, which you can get at theburningtruth.us. The warehouse is not just a standard large warehouse, which would be bad enough. We are talking about a massive, massive warehouse. Pallets and pallets and pallets of aid that was donated after Hurricane Maria, which was in 2017. And that aid is just sitting there, not being distributed, which means it wasn't distributed after that disaster. It wasn't distributed after, and some people are commenting on the live stream about all the hurricanes that have happened there since. It wasn't distributed after those. Wasn't distributed after the hurricanes, the earthquakes. Wasn't distributed after any of that. It's just sitting there, right? And again, I told you back a couple of years ago, I said, remember this day when that woman was talking about how Trump wasn't sending any aid to Puerto Rico, no aid was getting there, and she was doing it standing in front of pallets of federal aid that had been donated by the federal government to go help the citizens of Puerto Rico, which I have to remind, it's a territory, but it's still not a state, which I traced all of that back for you a couple of times as well. This is exactly what was predicted would happen, right? So basically what ended up happening is you have this whole crowd of people who ended up finding this warehouse. They broke it open and they go in and they're taking the aid that they need, now, which a lot of it's probably not going to get distributed the way that it should because now it's just being taken. The governor's been forced to fire people. I wouldn't be surprised after an investigation is done that we find out that the governor, I don't know her whole history, may at some point in time have some involvement in some of this, but I could totally be wrong because I don't know her history. But now, Newsbusters. Liberal media forced to concede Trump was right about Puerto Rico's government. We'll talk about that next on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
What?
Guess what? When there was somebody playing with me, I won.
Good job, babe.
Cause they just kept on getting the arrows going where you're sitting, and mine went like that, and then I got in.
Very good, honey. I'm glad. Good job. Make a little streamer out of you yet.
What do we do? Click prizes?
What? Let me see. Don't buy anything.
Not click prizes?
Let me see. I can't see it over there.
Ugh.
Honey, come on. I don't have time.
Click prizes?
You gotta hurry. No, okay. No, so the prize, that's like an entry fee thing. You don't need that. Just play golf. You don't need to join any tournaments or anything, okay?
Okay.
You're not ready for tournaments yet.
What? Play 1 versus 1. But this is the only one that's unlocked, and we have to click something on it.
Honey, if it's going to be too complicated for you to understand, close out of it and play Sonic, because I can't help you with it. Okay?
No. I need to click prizes.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Did you click play golf?
Yes, and this happened, and they only said 1 versus 1.
So it's trying to force you into a tournament?
Maybe.
Okay.
So it says 1 versus 1.
Okay, hold on.
I can't see.
Okay, it is forcing you to do that. All right, I guess you got to do it.
Click prizes?
No, you click entry fee, the green button right there. It's forcing you to use your coins to play. When you're out of coins, though, you're not going to be able to play anymore, okay?
Okay.
That one's apparently not as user-friendly as the one that I play.
Looking to get your business off to a fast start in the new year? It's go time. Switch to Compact Business today. Largest state speed network. Automatic internet backup to keep you connected even if the power goes out. And classy
Yeah, Call of Duty Mobile, right?
new threats like phishing and malware. Greenlight your business in the new year with a great deal. Get started now with 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month for 2 years, and you add 2 voice mobility lines and sign up for paperless billing and auto pay. For a limited time, get a free $100 prepaid card when you switch today. Kick your year off the right way with fast, reliable internet for your business. There's never been a better time than now. So what's stopping you? Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business beyond fast.
Remember when you brought your car into that big dealership?
I don't want to watch it, but Women's March gets their signal to start chanting from a kazoo.
Have you taken your retirement plan to an independent advisor for a second opinion? Howard Bailey has helped over 1,000 families craft their retirement plan with meaning and purpose so they can spend more time doing the things they love and less time worrying about their financial security. Call 866-482-9559 now and schedule a complimentary visit with our independent team at Howard.
Why is everybody so pissed off about Prince Harry telling the president of Disney to hire Meghan for voiceover work? It's kind of how you get jobs. You ask for them. And if you're going to be at a place where you have people who can make that happen, you strike up a relationship with them and you pitch. That's how things get done. I don't know why everybody's so upset about it.
Chances are you can remember your best decisions.
I remember that's on Breeze World, the song.
Yes, it is. You do have this song in one of your videos.
Now you can add another decision to that list. Moving to a Trilogy Senior Living Community. When you make the move to a Trilogy Senior Living Community, you'll feel good about your decision. We guarantee it. Visit trilogyhs.com to find a community near you.
At DJ Construction, we're building into our communities, like the new Boys and Girls Club we built at Beardsley Elementary School in Elkhart, or the All-Pro Dads Breakfast we sponsor at Beardsley and other area schools to elevate the role of dads and mentors in kids' lives. I'm Matt Schrock from DJ Construction. We live here, we care here. DJ Construction, building into our community. When it's time to build, make us your first call.
To enable the 95.3 MNC skills, visit the skills section on your Alexa app or your smartphone and search for 95.3 MNC.
Today's news. Traffic.
All right, here we go.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-2595, 95.3. Again, if you would like to call and talk about what has been happening in Puerto Rico. Real quick, we'll get back to Puerto Rico here in just a second. CNBC has touted that Democrat contenders are outraising Trump. But nobody's outraised him. The massive 2020 Democratic field is altogether outraising President Donald Trump, but Trump is outraising every single candidate individually. CNBC reported that neither President George W. Bush nor President Barack Obama was outraised to such an extent during their re-election year, but they also faced far fewer candidates. Republicans did outraise Obama during the 2012 presidential election campaign, but only slightly, and it obviously didn't work because Bush outraised Democrats in 2004. So, again, I have to point out, Trump has the largest war chest of any incumbent by far. He is outraising the DNC by leaps and bounds. It's not even remotely close. Okay, he's breaking records with fundraising. The GOP and the RNC are breaking routine records on a monthly basis for fundraising. And so what CNBC's solution is to make the money game look like it's a little bit more balanced is to say every Democrat running for office all across the country, put them all together, they have outraised Donald Trump. Folks, let them distort things however they want. It's entirely up to them. All right, back to Puerto Rico. Earlier this week, the Washington Post attempted to redeploy the old Hurricane Maria playbook in order to commoditize human suffering for Democrat political gain. Let's see. Still, it is worth remembering that many Puerto Ricans were forced to leave the island after Maria. And again, Hurricane Maria happened in 2017. They are now living and will be able to vote in swing states such as Florida and Pennsylvania. Presumably, many of them will remember how the island has been treated. So that was the Washington Post earlier this last week, okay? So the Washington Post is basically saying, remember how Trump didn't help Puerto Rico at all? Remember that? Remember how he just let Puerto Rico sit there, which, again, was all design. We told you all back then. They were withholding aid. Part of it was the corruption of the government because they were going to keep some of it themselves. Part of it was they were going to use it for political reasons to attack the president, and they were going to make it seem like the president didn't care about Puerto Rico because they felt that they were somewhat successful in doing that when they lied about President George W. Bush after Hurricane Katrina. So they're going to go back to their old playbook because, again, that's what liberal Democrats do. They use the old playbook over and over and over and over and over again in order to go ahead and demonize their political opponents. So the Washington Post goes out there and basically redoes this claim, which is complete nonsense and been completely debunked. It was debunked years ago, but they went out there and they did it. Remember how Trump did not, I'm paraphrasing, of course, remember how Trump did not help those poor non-white people on Puerto Rico. Remember that? Well, again, it wasn't true. He sent lots of aid there, declared an emergency far earlier than people were willing to admit. And, of course, now we find out that they have this massive warehouse of aid that have been sent there for Hurricane Maria. This has been sitting there in a warehouse, not distributed at all. And you can't help but wonder if it wasn't distributed, since it wasn't just pilfered by everybody in public office in Puerto Rico. You have to wonder if it was just kept there in order to go ahead and demonize the president of the United States at the cost of very real human suffering in Puerto Rico, which is horrendously corrupt, inhumane, and you could even say evil. So anyway, this is Newsbusters. It is important to recall that the national media was asleep at the switch during the initial aftermath of Hurricane Maria, devoted coverage instead to the president's tweets regarding the NFL. It's true. In fact, the liberal media didn't begin to cover Maria's terrible aftermath until there was a clear anti-Trump angle as embodied by the radical separatist mayor of San Juan, who rode her post-Maria notoriety all the way to Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign, where she now serves as national co-chair. That was the lady, I think, that gave the her little talk in front of the news that he wasn't sending any aid in front of those pallets. So I didn't know that she was the co-chair of Bernie's campaign now. Fast forward to 2020. Well over 1,000 earthquakes have rattled Puerto Rico's southwestern coast and mountainous regions, displaced many families, and causing millions of dollars in damages. However, the bulk of the damage is limited to a few municipalities and is on the opposite end of the island from San Juan. There is, therefore, no free press for the mayor to chase and no performative press conferences in front of pallets of aid. The lack of an immediate anti-Trump angle to cover in coverage of the earthquakes, the Trump administration's announcement of anti-corruption safeguards that facilitate the disbursement of HUD relief funds, and the subsequent issuance of major disaster declaration for Puerto Rico have, when combined with the president's strategic silence on the matter, deprived the liberal media of any fuel with which to further politicize its coverage of the earthquakes. Additionally, the island was roiled by news that much-needed relief supplies sat in a warehouse as earthquake victims suffered, which only serves to bolster the president's charge, one with which many Puerto Ricans agree, by the way, that the island's government is corrupt and incompetent. And now, even the media is forced to admit that Trump was telling the truth and Trump was right about the government of Puerto Rico 2 years ago after Hurricane Maria. And all of the evidence that he was right and the media was wrong sat in that warehouse and was busted open on the news and shown for the entire world to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live streaming. Go to YouTube or Twitch at Casey the Host. More coming up right here on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
All right.
Your top stories right now. Everything just fell on a deadly shooting in Missouri. Mr. Brady, Fox News. Police in Kansas City still investigating.
Yeah, right after they secured a Super Bowl berth, dude went on a shooting rampage.
Police say a man who gunned down a woman was shot and killed by private security at that club, apparently celebrating Sunday's playoff win by the Kansas City Chiefs. Police Chief Richard Smith identified Jerron Swift as the shooter, but not much else is known right now.
Okay, honey.
What?
You're going to have to chill with that stuff.
The chief saying we do not have a motive.
It's not on you, dude. That wasn't you. That was him.
Me?
No.
Okay.
That was Fox News messing up.
Thanks, Granol. In San Antonio, police still searching for the gunman who opened fire last night, killing 2 people, injuring 5. And also in Texas, Dallas police say a 9-year-old girl was injured by gunfire after a man shot into a moving car during a road rage incident. The search for that gunman also continues.
Here we go. Got hour 2 set up for the prep.
We still don't have this resolution setting the parameters of the debate and the trial over the next couple of days. Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, has kept that very close to his vest. And the impeachment managers say they're struggling to try to figure out how the next couple of days.
Yeah, Plants vs. Zombies. She's never really played that one. She did play Fruit Ninja for a little bit.
That resolution from McConnell, there will be a vote on that. And then Wednesday, Thursday, that's where the House presents its case. Friday, Saturday, the rebuttal from the Trump defense team here put on the coffee. A lot of 2 o'clock in the morning.
On to Shad Burger on Capitol Hill. America is listening. Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Yeah, it's kind of funny about that, Frank.
I'm Tommy Lee in the News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, one person was hurt after crashing their car into railroad tracks in Kansas.
All right, so I've got to. God, I'm so behind today. Sorry, I'm just like disheveled and behind, and I'm trying to catch up.
When they lost control of their vehicle and left the road, the car then struck the railroad tracks in the intersection. The driver had minor injuries and was transported to a local hospital. Alcohol and drugs are not believed to be factors in the crash. Indiana lawmakers are considering a bill that would undo a landmark state Supreme Court ruling that affirmed that the Lake Michigan shoreline is owned by the state.
That would give up the state's ownership of large swaths of the shoreline to adjacent private property owners if their deeds indicate the land extends to Lake Michigan. The Indiana House Committee on Judiciary heard testimony last week from residents, interest groups, and legislators on the proposal. The committee will discuss it.
Make sure my audio is not going out again.
Darren Wright, MNC News.
And site work is underway in northwest Indiana for a war memorial that was delayed for years by the Great Recession after the 2008 financial crisis.
Crews began clearing trees last week in Crown Point for the memorial, which will feature 3 separate monuments, one for World War I veterans, another for World War II veterans, and one for victims of the Holocaust. A walkway between the 2 war memorials will be lined with plaques describing key events between those 2 conflicts. Planners hope to have the memorial finished no later than 2022. Heather Starr, MNC News.
See what I mean? Like, she would entertain the hell out of anybody on the street just because she doesn't stop.
On a hot day in August 1946, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered a speech on the civil rights movement and his legacy. This, of course, was his I Have a Dream speech, delivered on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom.
In the ABC B7 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Lincoln Edie.
Stay connected with 95.3 MNC on Alexa.
I have a dream. My 4 little children one day live in a nation.
Crowds marched on 250.
Yeah. You are right where I am. Whoa, get back onto your page. It's your turn.
I think that's loud enough.
Look, I'm right there. But next
Yeah.
Sometimes the full tune-up can turn into a surprise system replacement. Let us give you a second opinion.
Okay, play it again.
Award-winning service with the highest level of excellence and professionalism with a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Yeah.
We'll get back on the page. Whoa, get back on the page.
Coop.
My turn.
This is Stacy on her motorcycle.
Okay.
What an incredible view!
And this is Stacy on her
Whatever.
motorcycle.
It's my turn. No, it's my
Oh, the
turn.
wind in my hair!
I took a picture already.
Etc., not etc.
On
Woohoo! Yes!
off.
No.
You're better on your bike.
No,
With basic power
I
systems.
think you did a bad job. You did a good job.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs.
No,
We
you're
partner
gonna win.
with Dell Small Business Technology.
You are gonna
You get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free audit on your servers.
All right, fair enough.
Devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, right now,
Come
upgrade to Windows 10 and get up to 35% off select processors.
Yeah, they've been blocking it a lot lately, so I've just been muting the audio around that song. So, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, Bree.
Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Want to thank our sponsors, R&B Car Company. Again, they've got locations in South Bend and Warsaw. Go to rbcarcompany.com to check out special promotions and offers on their cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, crossovers, even motorcycles. rbcarcompany.com. Today's Martin Luther King Day, and as a result, kids out of school, and Bree wanted to come to school with me today. So it seems like there was a period of time where you got it off, and then there was a period of time where you didn't get it off, and then I think they're back to giving you the day off now. I don't know what the nuances of that are. I don't know if it varies by state or whatever it is, but I can remember having it off, and then I can remember not having it off when I went to school. But Bree decided to join me. So if you hear a squeal or a yell or something in the background, that is not Joe. That would probably be Bree. She's competing with people in a golf game on her tablet right now. But it is Martin Luther King Day, and every Martin Luther King Day, I play the I Have a Dream portion of his famous speech, which, of course, happened way back in the 60s. And this is an important speech. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are distorting what he believes. They're trying to claim him for their side. We saw Black Lives Matter do this for a period of time. And I know that he's had some controversy come up with allegations of sexual inappropriateness over the past couple of years. The FBI documents got released last year. And and there's still some stuff to look at with all of that information, and it shouldn't be totally forgotten. It doesn't change the good things that he did, and it certainly doesn't change the historic moment that the I Have a Dream speech, or portion of his speech, I should say, that has had on the American populace, and certainly on our national narrative. And so it's about 5 minutes, this portion of the speech. His entire speech was a little over 17, but this particular part of the speech was about 5 minutes or so, and I like playing it on the program every single year just to remind everybody of what he actually stood for, because it does get distorted quite a bit. And I want you to go ahead and just sit back, pay attention to this bit of history, listen to it. If you got younglings around, have them listen to it. I don't know if they play it in school. I have no idea if they play it in school. My daughter came home and told me they did some things for Martin Luther King on Friday, but I don't know. The extent of it was police were trying to kill kids. That's what I got out of my daughter. So I don't know what they have taught in the full complexity of everything. And I don't know that she would be able to recognize it or identify it and bring it home with me anyway. So just in case they're not, it's important. And of course, this will be in the Daily Show prep. It always is every single year. I've got it on my website perpetually anyway. And you can find it on YouTube and everywhere else. But I wanted to play it for you as I do every single year on this day, just to remind everybody of what he actually said.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today I have a dream that one day down Alabama with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state,
All right, Martin Luther King, 1963, of course, in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial, giving his famous I Have a Dream speech. And we play it every year on the show. You know what's amazing is that every year we play this thing, I get people who send me messages saying, thank you for playing it. And I don't know, am I the only one who does that?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, it seems like this should be a given, right? That if you're not going to play the full 17 minutes, that you would play this portion of it,
You
right?
would hope.
But I felt, one, it's always important to play it just because it's history, right? So we know that on certain days I play things that are historic. Obviously, we do that with Pearl Harbor Day. We do that here. We do that with a couple of other big days throughout the year because it's important to remember what actually happened, what was actually said, how things went down. And this is one of the most important speeches in modern American history, certainly. It's, you could argue that there's other speeches that are more important, but in modern American history, this is, by far and away one of the top speeches that has ever been given. And if you look at the impact that it has had and how important what he said that day is, it would seem like a given that you play it. I mean, honestly, it would. And you don't need any of the other context around it. I think it's important that people understand what was happening at the time, and they show the images where police and National Guardsmen were abusing people. I think it's important to show that so we don't lose that. But honestly, this is one of those things that stands on its own because there are people who are trying to claim that he said very different things that day. There are people who try to claim ownership of him. Again, we talked about Black Lives Matter a couple of years ago when they were distorting completely what he said. And we had a whole segment where they were claiming that he would have stood for this, and then I had to play the speech and actually read from a couple of his other writings that said he actually believed the exact opposite. You know, Pollock has a really good article here, Joel Pollock, and Joel Pollock is a really good writer over at Breitbart, but you know, he's got this really good article. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw America as the solution and not the problem. And that is true. And you heard it right there in that speech. He did see America as the solution and not the problem. He understood, obviously, more so than anybody alive today could probably really understand. Obviously, some who were around during that time would have an idea of what he would understand with this. But he understood that there were people who abused that and didn't live up to the values of the country, certainly. In annual observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day is an occasion for the left to reinforce racial identity and radical politics, and for the right to criticize what the civil rights movement has become in the hands of King's self-professed successors. It's all true. Certainly, the Democratic presidential primary has provided material for the latter as the contenders have rushed to kiss the ring of Al Sharpton, a notorious race baiter responsible for much of the country's current division. It is sad that a day named for a leader whose legacy was a message, a prophecy of unity, should be observed in such divergent ways. King preached about injustices in America, first racial injustices in the South enshrined in law, then economic injustice in the North and elsewhere. But this is crucial. He never saw America as the problem. He saw America and its values as the solution. By the way, he did so in a long-standing tradition of black intellectuals on the issue. They all kind of felt the same way. He also saw black Americans as equal guardians of the American ideal, as we all should. King is remembered for many things, but especially two texts, his I Have a Dream speech and his letter from a Birmingham jail. The former is taught to elementary school children, at least we hope so. The second appears more often in high school or college, although it wasn't in mine. I had to read that one on my own. King's attack in his letter on white moderates, more devoted to order than to justice. He called them, provoked the new left of the 1960s and even today's woke left, desperate to avoid the appearance of complacency. But there is more to the letter than is typically taught or remembered. King declared, "We will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over the nation because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up with the destiny of America. America was the solution, not the problem." That was the challenge that King laid down. It's also a good article. Joel Pollock, again, he's a senior editor at large at Breitbart, but he is a very good writer, and he captured the spirit. Like I said, that's one of the reasons that I play it, is so you can hear what King actually said and what he actually believed versus how it's distorted today by people trying to claim him simply because they are trying to get more notoriety or credibility than any other group. We've got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We're on the Weather Watch 24 hours a day, on air, and on your smartphone with weather text alerts. Sign up at 953mnc.com. Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Well, that's one thing. You have a new sleep worksheet.
All right.
So moving it to the 3 spot.
Okay. All right.
Hey, it's Casey Hendrickson on the drive home. Weekday afternoons, 3 till 6, live and local with my perspective and your opinion about the big issues.
Were some of them blocked? I didn't know that some of them were blocked.
I haven't had a chance to really live stream some of those from Virginia, so I didn't know. Well, if you block it, you get to raise the narrative again that there was violence. Now, there was a couple of videos that I saw where the bird doggers were there trying to incite violence, and they were immediately shut down by the crowds. And it was so overwhelming that you couldn't even spin it to make it seem like there was a radical there. And again, that's the Creamer Group type stuff. It's all fake. You go in there, you infiltrate these groups, you try to pretend that they're causing violence. That's how they work.
Still want to test drive the car first? No problem. Schedule a test drive at any time. They're happy to help a person at any point. The Lock Money Fastlane online purchase experience is only at LockMoney.com. Shop your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, GMC, Buick, Chevy, and Ford models, plus all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles for every budget. Over 700 vehicles. Get the Fastlane to your next vehicle at LockMoney.com.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. The lines that we carry are stick lid, hammered on, every chair, white.
Two police officers in Hawaii were killed.
Furniture. Why do we carry the lines of furniture we carry? I believe in the quality. I believe that it's a value. Purchasing something that is of good quality will last you as long as you want to call it. Styling is typically a replaced asset, so it's not going to be trendy and something that doesn't pass now. We are not a commission-based company, so when someone comes in, we're not trying to, we need to buy this because we need to make my commission for them. I'll go for that. So we actually are more interested in helping you find what is right. I would rather somebody leave than try something they're not happy with or feel that they were pressured to buy something they didn't care about. Come to see Kramer Interiors on University Drive next to Separate Grill.
When those giant scissors come out for a grand opening ceremony, it's the staff that's in the photo. Behind the scenes of any office or industrial build are numerous contractors tirelessly taking dreams from drawing board to reality with precision, on schedule, and on budget. From the very
Oh, God.
to the final phase.
What does the Democratic Party and the Super Bowl have in common? No Patriots.
The tools and the experience to make your dreams a reality. And
Shameful lowball joke.
precision and throw guesswork out the window. We believe in positive results through positive people, and we're positive that we can help you with your commercial or industrial project. One call does it all. 574-522-4444.
Well, what were you supposed to be?
574-522-4444. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. You've got better things to do. Let us hook you up. Find Final Phase Electric on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net.
Foodies from all over are discovering the trip to Napanee from Route 152 Bistro and Brewery to be well worth it. Featuring an open 2-story layout with big
Camera down the nose is never fun.
service, Route 152's eclectic menu features
Never fun at all.
seafood, sushi, and an array of cocktails, wine, and craft beers. For a culinary experience that excites the taste buds in an amazing, relaxing atmosphere, Route 152 in Napanee is your best choice. Visit RUHE152.com or Facebook for more information. Doors are opening across Indiana with new careers, opportunities, and adventures, creating an exciting future in the Hoosier State. And the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority wants to help you open the door to your first home with its homebuyer program to make homeownership much more affordable. Cement your future at home in Indiana with down payment assistance from IHCDA. For more information, visit homeownership.in.gov.
This message is sponsored by the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority and this station.
What's the difference between a bed from Elkhart Bedding and a national brand? Two things.
San Antonio has spent more than $300,000 just trying to keep Chick-fil-A out of its airport.
But because we're factory direct,
$300K taxpayer dollars to avoid serving chicken.
Everyday price is less than sale prices at other stores. Like our 2-sided queen sleep set for just $299. Get the most bed for your money. By factory direct at Elkhart Bedding. Find out more at elkhartbedding.com.
Tuesday is the start of the Senate
All right, here we go.
President Trump. Everything you need to know ahead of the opening arguments on Brooklyn Baby.
John Zimney, Michiana's Morning News, first thing in the morning, 95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Got to tell you about all natural CBD. Natural CBD lotion is a phenomenal product. It is a product that I have endorsed for a couple of months now, and I use on a regular basis. Everybody in my family uses it. I've got a lot of coworkers who have relatives who use it. Some coworkers use it themselves. It just works. Look, if you've got arthritis, fibromyalgia, if you have some kind of minor aches and pains, this is a great alternative to popping pills, okay? Obviously, you can get the topical stuff that may or may not work at the grocery store that's been around forever, stuff like Icy Hot and things like that. Sometimes it can work, sometimes it doesn't, but it stinks. It smells bad. This is a lotion, and it comes in lavender or unscented. It's your choice. You can get either 250 milligrams or 500 milligrams. And again, full spectrum CBD, which is what you want. You get the maximum benefit, all those health effects you get from CBD. You get more of them with full spectrum CBD than you do with CBD isolate. And it's only $19.99 for the 500 milligrams, and you get a 4-ounce bottle. So it is like 3 to 4 times bigger than the competitors, and it's about a third, sometimes even a quarter of the price. So, and it works. It's a phenomenal product. It is lotion, so it soothes and moisturizes your skin as well. And if you go to the gym on a regular basis, put some on your muscles that you're going to be working out that day before you go, and then apply it again after you get done with your workout, and you're going to have much less muscle soreness to worry about over the next day or two. Again, go to allnaturalcbd.org. Use promo code KC10. Allnaturalcbd.org, promo code KC10. You can also pick it up locally at any local eSigWorks location. In fact, I was in the Elkhart location here last week, and they were saying that they hear a lot from my listeners who come in and get it, but they hear even more from their fulfillment center, which is, I think, located in Goshen. They're talking about how you're ordering it all the time. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And like I said, you get 10% off anyway by using promo code KC10, whether you go to any local eSigWorks or you go to the website allnaturalcbd.org, promo code KC10. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. Liberal California legislature is looking to ban gas-powered lawn equipment again. We've talked about this before, but it's now coming up one more time. I don't know exactly what the reason that they keep failing to do this is. I'm not really sure. The nanny state of California now considering a ban on gasoline-powered lawn equipment, a move that the state government says is for Californians' own good. Okay. According to KOVR, state lawmakers are not worried about citizens losing fingers to mower blades, but about the greenhouse gases being emitted by garden tools running on fossil fuels. Of course, California gets most of its energy from fossil fuels, but I digress. As of now, 60 cities have enacted some form of restriction on gas-powered lawn equipment. The statewide ban would seemingly force everyone in the state to turn to electric gear to maintain their lawns and gardens. How many electric riding mowers are there? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I'm really curious. There might be some. I'm not really sure. Does Tesla have like a lawnmower? If Tesla doesn't have a lawnmower, Elon needs to get on that. Joe is Googling. Because honestly, I don't think that there is a prominent manufacturer of electric riding mowers. I know that they got those little robots, the solar power robot ones.
There's like Roomba kind ones if you want to pay $2,000.
Well, that's just it. They're really expensive, and I don't know that I trust them to actually work.
$2,000 for a 38-inch.
Do they come with GPS?
I don't know.
Because
there's one on sale for $3,899.
If it's on sale, But see, the good news is that all of the rich people who run things in California, they can afford that.
True.
All of the poor people in California can't.
There are several push mowers that look like they're electric, but I don't think if you want to get a riding one,
there's a lot of push mowers.
$3,000-$4,000.
See, there's a lot of push mowers, but there's a lot of very large lawns in California.
That's true.
And so, how this law would get phrased and how it would be worded is critical, because there's a lot of people who have to have riding mowers, and there's a lot of companies who have to have riding mowers to be able to maintain the lawns of various rich celebrities who don't want you to have any gasoline-powered lawn equipment. By the way, while rich people can afford this stuff, poor people can't. California is still the state with the largest population of poor people. We have to point that out. And so I don't know.
Tesla has a leaf blower, but they do not have a lawnmower.
Okay, because we needed another non-gasoline powered leaf mower or leaf blower.
And just they don't have a lawnmower.
Well, there's gonna be a market in California for that.
I'm sure.
Let's see. And by the way, I mean, if you've worked with the stuff, there's some electric things that you can get away with using just fine. None of them work better than gas. None of them do. And I have some electric and I have some gas, but the electric stuff, none of it works better than my gas-powered version of it. So it's inferior. See, the ban would also mean time spent recharging or the hassle of dragging an extension cord to all corners of the yard. Seemingly citizens' only other choice would be to use hand tools, which, of course, would be problematic and impossible depending on your yard work that you have. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested in one of those Roombas for the lawn. The problem is that it has to have GPS because somebody's going to snag it. You're going to have that thing running around your yard, and somebody's going to come by, and they're going to pick it up and snag it just like they do your Amazon packages or your Christmas decorations. So I don't know. That's the one thing keeping me from doing is I don't know if I want to deal with that. I do have a little push mower for the front yard, though, because the front yard is just a tiny little strip. The backyard's the big part. And the push mower up front makes it way easier than the backyard where we have the riding mower. So I don't know. It seems like it's another do-gooder thing, which is based on pseudoscience, another do-gooder thing that's just going to do nothing but cause negative problems anyway. We've got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
I will be right back. Here's one for just under $1,000 that has GPS.
It does have GPS.
Excellent cutting performance, very quiet, includes radio, includes Wi-Fi and GPS. No remote, so it's automatic.
Okay, but
it's got a mobile app.
But is that GPS just GPS for the yard? Because they use GPS to map your yard.
No.
I need to be able to find that thing with some asshat skills. That's what I need to do.
Nationwide, 120,000 people have been hospitalized due to the flu this season, with more than 6,000 deaths, according to the CDC. Darren Wright, MNC News.
And it appears that the former Amish Acres property is getting a lot of interest from at least one very big name.
Celebrity designer Joanna Gaines is among those who have been connected to the property as it prepares for the auction on February 5th. The Goshen News reports that the company handling the auction has been fielding interest from a lot of interested parties, in part because it has been divided up into specific pieces to make it more appealing to buyers. There are a total of 16 tracts that include various parts of the 28-acre property. They also note that there have been
You can get one that can apparently handle up to half an acre for $1,200.
I mean, that's worth it.
It's like,
That's what you pay for a riding mower.
you have a larger lawn. You have a larger lawn. The L20B for $1,200 can handle up to half an acre.
What I need to do is get an endorsement for one of those things and see if it works. That's what we need to do. That's the cost of a riding mower, and if I can spend that for the cost of a riding mower and never have to touch my lawn,
20 volt,
it's worth it.
4 amp hour battery. Removed and used in other works, 20 volts, cordless power tools, such as head trimmers, edgers, and weed whackers. Under the hood are dual brushless electric motors, 36 decibel.
Do they even have brushed electric motors anymore?
Not commonly.
It's like they still advertise brushless, but I don't know that. I suppose there's some Chinese company that's still doing it, but pretty much everybody's gone to brushless. For good reason, but
use the buttons to navigate the menus where you can create cutting schedules based on your lawn size, define work zones, and configure your Wi-Fi and rain settings. And even gives you a mile. This gives you a mileage.
For $1,200, for $3,000, I wouldn't do it. But for $12,
Find My Lane.
it does. So you can find it when somebody steals
There are
it.
buttons for the mower to radio link, find it, ACS, and off limits.
What's the range on that, though? If somebody comes by and bot naps my mower.
Real time on satellite. If the lower
leaves that perimeter, you can set a geofence like, hey, this is the area of my property. If it leaves that perimeter, you can track its location real time on satellite. So
Comet's got such a good point.
Probably like the same way that you would like find your iPhone or your phone.
Okay. Comet's got a really good point. This is California, where they have a failing electrical grid. I mean, I don't know why I didn't even think about that. They do have a failing electrical grid in California. Do you really want to burden the system with more of that? It's a good point. Very good point.
Located on Grape Road in Mishawaka. Chow down on Michiana's favorite pizza. Plus, Barnaby's also has burgers, wings, a salad bar, and more.
There's even one that there's not this company, but there are ones that like you can remote control and like save, and it's basically it's a writer that you don't have to be on the side. Like,
I've seen people make those. Yeah. But I mean,
you could do that with like a riding mower.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah, but I'd rather have the robot do it. As long as the friggin' blades hold up, man, that's all I care about.
That's true.
If it will drive my lawn and hold up, then
here's
I'm good.
Performance. Let's see. Installation or performance. Installation is really easy. Laying perimeter wire can be time consuming and requires a fair amount of physical work. Whatever. But then you never have to do it again. It takes a couple hours for his 2,000 square foot lawn, which doesn't seem that
But you're not doing it, so who cares? Who cares how long it takes?
So then you install it and then you're done.
Yeah.
So like 2 hours versus the hours that you would spend mowing your lawn.
Right, and you should be good to go. See, 3,000 I wouldn't do, but 1,200, I'd pay 1,200 for it to work. As long as I could find it when the kids inevitably steal the damn thing.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not.
I guess it also depends on how well. And then you can just be like, yeah, on 9 a.m. on this day, go mow.
Yeah.
Go mow. Yeah. But I guess you could just do it like every day.
That would make sense.
I tested to find my GPS radio by placing the mower in my truck and driving a few miles away. Sure enough, the map showed the exact street location of the mower while it was being tucked away in the cover of my bag.
Well, okay then.
For $999 on Amazon. The editor's choice. iRobot has one. The iRobot Terra mower.
It's a Terra mower. It's a good company though, iRobot.
Yeah, that's why. Because they have really good like those Roomba vacuums. So like they have Roombas for your yard and see how those work.
Did I tell you that we got
no
a little
need to cost boundary wise. So that physical labor that the other dude signed, this doesn't have that.
Oh, I missed the physical labor part. Yeah, because most of them you shouldn't have to install it anymore.
The perimeter wire. So this version, the iRobot one, doesn't have a perimeter.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to have that anymore. Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't hear that other part. Because now, yeah, the GPS should just map your yard. Not you shouldn't need any of that.
Casey Hendrickson.
That's fair enough. So I guess the less money robot to mow your lawn, the $1,200 one, which by the way, I would pay $1,200 for that because it's the cost of a riding mower and it's mowing your lawn for you. But that one you have to install the perimeter wire.
I don't know if the one that quote can handle half an acre needs a perimeter wire. I was viewing the $999 version.
Oh.
So I don't know.
I must have not been listening to half of what you were saying then because I thought we were still on the $1,200 one. Okay, but some of them still have the perimeter wire, which
company.
You've got to dig up.
Yeah, and according to this dude, his 2,000 square foot lawn cost him 2 hours to install the perimeter wire.
Which isn't that bad.
Right, that's what I said.
But yeah, I mean, because like with the new technology on your vacuums, they just map your house.
Mm-hmm.
So every time it vacuums and it bumps into something, it maps that there's a physical barrier there. And everywhere it doesn't bump into anything, it just, says that's what I have to work on. So I would assume that it'd be the
$1,300 version which is the one that can handle up to half an acre.
Uh-huh.
We're
spending entirely too much time on this.
We are.
Now I'm interested.
Does it have... Let me see.
While he's looking that up, I will say this. Comet on the live stream had a very good point. California is the state that has the failing electrical grid. And they have these rolling brownouts, and their wildfires are caused by an aging electrical issue. So why would you want to overburden the system even more in California when you're already having problems meeting capacity for your electrical requirements? It's a very good point, Comet.
So the landroids, which is the ones that we were talking about earlier, come with perimeter wire, including the one that can cut up to half an acre, apparently.
Okay. I mean, I'm not butthurt about putting in perimeter wire. It just, I would assume that.
But iRobot has
that's
one,
being phased
and
out.
they're the ones who make Roomba, and those don't have perimeter wire. I don't know how much more you have to pay for that.
Probably a lot, but they'll come down in price in a couple of years. So, did I tell you that we got one of those little robots for the house? We got a cheap little one. So, when you buy the cheap little house robots, they're not vacuums. They're called floor sweepers. And that's essentially what it does. I mean, it does pick up a lot of dog hair, though. That's like our biggest complaint. You got dog hair everywhere, so it does pick up the dog hair. But it floats around, does its thing. It's not great. You know, it's probably worth the $40 we paid for it. We got it on deal. You can get them cheaper, by the way. In fact, I was at Aldi the other day. They had a $20 one. And you put a little like microfiber thing underneath it so it'll sweep. But it'll do its thing. You know, if you've got a lot of dog hair or something like that, it'll help keep that down. So that way it's not constantly an issue, but it's not going to do anything great. I haven't played with one of the big ones, but I've heard really good things about the expensive ones you pay like $400 for, that they do a really good job. So you still can't find it?
So I'm on iRobot's website, and I'm like, I want to buy this, but it won't give me a buy. Oh, it's coming soon.
Oh, okay.
The T-Series, which is their mower, is coming soon. But it doesn't come with boundary wire.
Okay.
Which is apparently...
So it's either going to work really well,
or it's going to be really
or
bad.
it's going to mow your neighbor's lawn and your neighbor's going to be happy, or it's going to disappear. Who knows? All right. So
I'm assuming...
We spent way too much time on this. I get that, but it intrigues me.
I'm assuming that the T-Series will also have the GPS Find My Robot.
We did find, because this was my GPS, yes, they all have like a GPS to map your yard, but my concern was that the neighbors are going to snag it. You know, there's always somebody who wants something and they're just going to snag it. I want to be able to find the thing.
And the reviewer took it, put it in his truck, and did the find it, and it was tracking him real time.
Yeah, that's good.
It's good to know.
That's good. You can go shoot somebody in the face who steals your robot. All right. Speaking of shooting people in the face, I've got to talk about Space Force here for the next couple of minutes. Have you guys seen the camouflage mockery that's been happening? Okay. Now, I didn't weigh in on it because, unlike most people on the internet, I actually paid attention to what Space Force was going to do. And since we don't have spaceships right now, Space Force is, in fact, going to need camouflage, okay? With their mission, they're absolutely going to need camouflage. But, hey, let the internet do its thing because the internet doesn't know what they're doing. So anyway, Space Force is now fired back after the writer for Vox, who is a huge liberal, by the way, mocked the camouflage uniforms. Aaron Rupert, who is a journalist at Vox, VOX, mocked the Space Force late Friday after the U.S. military's newest branch unveiled its utility uniform. The uniform is green, has a digital camouflage pattern. Looks like it might be multicam. And let's see, similar to other branches of the service, yada, yada, yada. Okay. In response, Rupert mocked Trump's Space Force in a tweet that went viral. Trump's Space Force troops wearing camo in space is perhaps the strongest evidence yet that Idiocracy is a documentary, he said. Now, again, this is coming from somebody who is a journalist who should have known what Space Force's mission was, right? Similar criticism also gained traction online. Camo in space? Okay, more wasted tax dollars, yada, yada. Here's the thing. Okay, so when a critic says more wasted tax dollars, but they can probably pull from the existing stores of uniforms as opposed to developing new uniforms, how dumb are you? They can either use the stuff they already have, or they can make brand new stuff at a pretty large cost. Okay? Exactly. Let's see. Space Force responded to the criticism Saturday with an explanation that would likely earn the approval of most Americans. The reason for the digital camouflage uniform, it saves taxpayer dollars in addition to establishing uniformity within the U.S. military. Oh! So it does exactly what I said it would do. The U.S. Space Force is utilizing current Army Air Force uniforms, saving costs of designing, producing a new one. According to the USSF, members will look like their joint counterparts they'll be working with on the ground. Exactly. There you go. And it won't be a big deal in space anyway. But remember, a lot of the Space Force mission is going to be on the ground. They will be deploying to areas to deploy equipment. So it's not just, oh, you're going to be in space and you're going to be flying spaceships. That's not what the Space Force is, okay? But, go figure. By the way, who knows, that camo might work really well on places like the moon. You never know. So when I saw that people were mocking the cost of this, I was like, no, they're probably just pulling from the existing resources that they have and saving taxpayer dollars, which is exactly what they're doing. As their mission and technology develop and as they actually start serving time in space and things of that nature, I would expect that those uniforms would change. But at this point in time, they need a uniform. Might as well go with what they already have. At this point in time, they're on the ground. So you might as well utilize the uniforms that you have that already work in the atmosphere that they're going to be working. It makes perfect sense. Well, at least it makes perfect sense to people who actually have a military background. Maybe not to liberal writers and people on social media who don't have any experience with these sort of things and don't know what Space Force's mission actually is. But for everybody else, it makes all the sense in the world. We've got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Hendrickson. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather sponsored by the Prime Table Kids. Hey, I'm really hungry. I know, let's go to the Prime Table. It's really good.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists 5-day forecast.
The snowy and cold weather coming to an end. Fair and slightly milder weather through mid-week. Tuesday, sunshine and a high of 32. Back in the 20s Tuesday night. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, 36. Increasing clouds Thursday, 38, and sloppy again on Friday. This round mostly rain, a high of 40 on Friday. Changing to a wintry mix Saturday with a high of 38. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center.
Impressed really coming out of the break.
Well, okay then.
MNC is your official school delays and closings radio station with updates at least every 15 minutes on air on those brutal winter mornings. Plus, the list is
Hey, Bree.
What?
You want to talk on the microphone?
Yeah.
Take your headphones off.
I watch Unspeakable.
You're watching Unspeakable? That's cool. All right, so listen, we're going to tell everybody about Impress. That's where you got your ears pierced. You want to tell them about your experience getting your ears pierced? You want to show everybody your ears? Look at the camera right there. Show everybody your ears. Look at that. You had a pretty good experience getting your ears pierced there, right? Bill was nice. Right?
Yeah.
We have all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles, something for every need and every budget. There are a lot of options for what you can do.
Is there anything on microphone you want to say?
We're on commercial break right now. So I'm going to come back and I have to do a commercial for Impress. And then I am going to ask you a couple of questions. And then I will say thank you, and then you can go back to doing your thing. Okay?
Okay.
In the meantime, you can say hello to everybody on the live stream.
Hello.
They're all saying hi to you.
What? How are they saying hi? Grandma said hi?
I don't know if Grandma's on right now.
Yeah. Go up. I saw her name.
Oh, there she is. Yep. Maybe she just hasn't seen it yet. Oh, there she goes. No, she asked if you were asleep.
Say no.
No, she's not asleep. She can see you. There she is. The grandmas are watching, Grandma says.
The jingle bell. It's a jingle bell.
Yeah.
It's a new top. 953. and see Mishawaka's new channel.
Mm-hmm.
Can I click on
No.
when you're ready?
No.
Why?
I will control that.
Tell me when to click on.
I will control that.
Why?
Because I said so.
But I want to try.
I will control that, sweetie.
For the Fathers Matter Forum is sponsored to encourage men to step up and enter meaningful relationships with kids. I'm Matt Sharp from DJ Construction. We live here, we care here. DJ Construction, building into our community.
Dada,
You.
can I send Mama a message on your phone?
No. You may not. You can send her a message from your tablet.
No, but then it's just going to send when I get home and she won't have time to do it then.
It won't send it when you get home because you're connected to the internet now. It'll send it right now. It'll be exactly the same as Dad's phone. Send it on Facebook because you're on the internet, honey. It'll go right to her.
Okay, I just need to watch this video.
All right, here we go. Bree, come here.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I just got done telling Bree, no, you can't turn on my microphone. I'll control it. And then I forgot to turn the stupid thing on. So go figure. I got to tell you about Impress Jewelry Creations. And in fact, Bree is joining me today. And she was just on the live stream. And she showed everybody her beautiful brand new earrings because we went to Impress Jewelry Creations on Saturday to get your ears pierced. And how did that go, Bree?
Good.
Was Bill nice? Did he do a good job piercing your ears?
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Yeah.
They look very pretty.
Yeah.
And how about a shout out to Ashley for giving you not the popsicle, but the lollipop. Say thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right. Thank you, baby. Okay, go back to playing golf.
No.
Win or don't come home. All right. So, oh, she's watching Unspeakable. Okay, there you go. All right. So, Impress Jewelry Creations did a fantastic job. She did. She finally made the decision to get her ears pierced. And there's some concerns that go into a tattoo shop. Nothing wrong with tattoo shops, but there's pictures on the walls that are not exactly appropriate for a young kid. So we didn't want to go to the mall. Wanted someplace quiet, professional, and they used a hermetically sealed cartridge in the device that they used to pierce her ears. Went off without a hitch. Her ears are great. They have healed. They're not sore. Nothing. Bill was awesome. Ashley, of course, very friendly. Just a phenomenal experience. But obviously, most people don't go to Impress Jewelry Creations to get their kids' ears pierced, but they do it. Okay, something that we weren't aware of until recently. You go there for the amazing quality jewelry that you have there, the amazing gemstones, the diamonds that are of the highest quality you're going to be able to get in the area. And of course, you go for the IJC collection, which is their new line of jewelry that they make themselves. They manufacture it in-house. They've got 4 goldsmiths in the back. They're high quality. Again, they've got a century's worth of experience between them. And the work that they do is just phenomenal. And they've got jewelry for every budget, okay? Don't want to scare anybody off. If you're just getting started out there and you haven't built that career or the savings yet, don't worry. They have stuff for you. And they have that because they want to build that relationship with you because one day when you can't afford the higher end stuff, they want you to come back. Go to ImpressJewelers.com. And, of course, you can visit them in person at Impress Jewelry Creations. They are located in Granger at 1233 University Drive. They're in City Plaza South, right next to Temper Grill and C. Kramer Interiors. And as always, when you go to Impress Jewelry Creations, make sure you let them know that I sent you. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Did you know that NASA had camouflage jackets? Nobody's ever said anything about NASA having camouflage jackets before. Huh. Strange. They only cared about Space Force. Why? Because, we think we can dunk on Trump for it. That's why. Okay. Whatever you say, folks. Okay, 574-25-95-95-3. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we'll go over some of the stuff from Virginia. We will also go over in the next hour, some of the Supreme Court stuff because there's the Electoral College case that is up there. And people are trying to figure out if you can actually require your electors to go ahead and apply the electoral votes to the popular vote winner as opposed to who wins the state, which has tremendous constitutional problems with that. But I digress. There are people who are very, very, very confused about all of that. There's this story here, kind of like a little kicker story just to finish up the hour. An HOA, which, again, HOAs should be unconstitutional. An HOA's evicted orphaned teenagers who moved in with their grandparents after both of the parents died. The rule prohibited anyone under the age of 19 from living in a senior community. So this 15-year-old whose parents died had to live with grandma and grandpa who live in a senior community. And the senior community says nobody under the age of 19 can live there. And so as a result, there was an eviction. At the end of 2018, Colin Clayabaugh's mother died in the hospital from an illness, and just 2 weeks later, the boy's father took his own life. With nowhere else to go, the now 15-year-old moved in with his grandparents, who lived in the Gardens at Willow Creek in Prescott, Arizona. But the 55-plus Communities Homeowners Association says Colin can't live there because of its rules prohibiting anybody under the age of 19 from residing at the Gardens at Willow Creek. They've told the family that Colin has to be out by June of 2020. What they're telling us in the letter is not that we have to move, but that we have to get rid of him. That's the grandma told KPNX TV. He's not a dog. He's not something you can just throw out. Not that you should throw out a dog either, but I get her meaning. In a statement released to the Daily Mail, the HOA said the board appreciates the difficulty of these circumstances, but must balance the interests of all parties involved. The Passmores and all other homeowners who purchase their property in an age-restricted community expecting the age restrictions to be followed. Now, do you think if they took a survey of all of those older folks in the 55-plus community, do you think if they took a survey, and maybe they should be something that's put up to a vote, do you think that they would vote to kick out the 15-year-old orphan, or do you think that most of these grandparents and parents themselves would vote for this 15-year-old to be living with the grandparents in the community as a special circumstance? Which do you think that they would probably choose? Maybe they should put this thing to a vote. So this is going to get some traction. And again, HOAs are basically the devil. They should be illegal. They violate many provisions of the U.S. and state constitutions, but they exist. And until somebody is willing to go ahead and go to bat to get rid of them, we got to deal with this type of shenanigans until it's rectified. So I wish them the absolute best with all of this. I hope that this everything works out for this kid, and I hope that the family is able to take legal action and either force the HOA's hand or get some kind of financial compensation for having to relocate. We've got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC FM.
And HD1 and HD3.
Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
Oh, man. Look who's not outside again.
I was just about to mention the person on the thing. The person at that place.
Well, the day before arguments begin in the impeachment trial, President Trump's legal team is arguing he did nothing wrong, calling 2 articles of impeachment flimsy, urging a quick dismissal from the Senate. The legal team, led by White House counsel Pat Cipollone, made a brief visit to the Capitol for a walkthrough of the Senate chamber. Several House Democrats serving as impeachment managers also looked at the setup in the Senate chamber. Still, some parameters for the trial remain unclear. A vote tomorrow is expected to adopt an organizing resolution with support from the Republican majority.
Meantime, Jared, the president headed to Switzerland tonight for the World Economic Forum in Davos. Earlier today, paying tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. and his dream.
It is the dream of a nation where every citizen, regardless of color, religion, or background, can grow up to succeed and to thrive.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully you don't have to deal with a lawsuit here, but I'm willing to bet they would win that case. Probably. Can you imagine walking into court and having a judge go, "No, you can't take your kid, your grandson, after their parents are dead"? I mean, imagine that.
Bernice King, a minister and Dr. King's youngest child, also urging people not to quote her father and then continue to support systemic oppression. The search for a motive continues after last night's deadly shooting outside a nightclub in Kansas City.
The people in Speed's office listening all say that they think the people would vote to make the kid leave. Ooh. Hey, there's only one way to find out. You got to take the vote. I think if the kid is not a problem, he's not a disciplinary issue, I'll bet that they let the kid stay. Yo. Yeah.
Something wrong with the video.
What's wrong with the video?
Look.
Oh yeah, that's all sorts of glitchy, isn't it? That is glitchy.
MNC.com. I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and here are top stories this Monday afternoon. Yesterday marked an historic day in Indiana.
It was like this Minecraft video I was watching.
State history. Oddly enough, the record was set in central
There
Indiana.
you go. Oh, it did it again. I don't know, honey. It started off fine. Maybe it's just his video.
36 degrees below zero. Leading up to the record, snow systems
I don't know.
about 8 inches of snow across central
It's
Indiana.
not a video because I saw.
You saw that video before?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it starts off fine and then it gets all wonky.
Fell below zero. Along I-70 and I-65 corridors,
Like it's okay there.
-20 and -30, still below the record. By comparison, in our own backyards, the record low for South Bend is a meek -22.
Good thing. I'll tell you
I don't know what the deal is. Sorry.
I'll tell you when it goes glitchy again.
As long as I'm not on the air.
Okay. Can we have a donut afterwards?
Will you stop asking me that question, please? I'm not going to answer that question every 10 minutes, babe. Well, Charlie Kirk is pushing the 22,000 attendance thing in Virginia. So.
And Governor Gretchen Whitmer is putting together a road triage plan that would renew her push for a major investment in Michigan's highways.
Yeah, it says in the thing that under 19 can't be in the community. Which to me was interesting because it's a 55 plus community and you can move in there, what, 20? That's weird.
After GOP lawmakers rejected her proposed 45-cent fuel tax hike last year. Her budget will be
Did the Russians hack her tablet? Probably. She is watching video game stuff, so. Tis entirely possible.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Clouds break this evening and temperatures will go up into the teens between 15 and 20 overnight. Clouds clear into Tuesday. A sunny day, especially by the afternoon, and a rebound to the freezing mark. High of 32 starts a slow melt with quiet weather through midweek. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coon.
The day's top local news, updated around the clock, plus live streaming audio.
Barrett's News, Virginia gun rally from white supremacists to the NRA. They look at who was participating. Uline Sachs.
News powered by Parkwood Auto Spa, home of the buy 5 get 3 free. Find a location near you at parkwoodautospot.com. Next to your house, your vehicle is one of your biggest investments, and it's important to routinely take care of it. Get oil changes a few times a year, new wheels and suspension, and may even change out a light bulb or two. So if the inside is running great, why not make the outside look just as flawless? Parkwood Auto Spa on Edison Road in Mishawaka and Ireland Road in South Bend can make sure your ride looks pristine and gleaming. They're also home of the buy 5 get 3 free. For every 5 washes you buy, you'll receive 3 free. So whether you, your spouse's, or your kid's vehicle needs a wash, there's plenty to go around. Or for only $15.95 a month, you can get an unlimited amount of washes. For that, there's no reason you won't have the best looking vehicle on the road. Parkwood Auto Spa also lets you control your wash. Fill up in the bay and get it done by hand. Or drive through their automatic wash and get on your way. Get to Parkwood Auto Spa in Mishawaka and South Bend, and online at parkwoodautospot.com.
This is Peter on his motorcycle. And this is Peter on his motorcycle.
Please move your paper off my desk. Thank you.
On his motorcycle.
Feel so alive!
Off his motorcycle.
I feel like we covered that already, so...
On.
Wow! Look at the ocean!
Off.
Look at this article I found about urban planning.
You're better on your bike. Progressive helps keep you honest. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. When you partner with a Dell Small Business Technology Advisor, you get real-time, tailored advice. They'll even give you a free audit on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution.
Carpe Dunktum. He posted a couple of hours ago. He's like, tonight's coverage of the Virginia rally on ABC. Violence erupts at Virginia white supremacist rally. And then they show the old the testing range. When they got that story all mixed up. That's funny.
Dada,
Yes.
I am hungry.
We're going to get some food after I'm done working, okay? We got 1 more hour, all right? I can't help you, babe. I'm getting ready to go on the air now. You got to be quiet.
Okay.
News Channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do you want to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company? Again, log on to their website at rbcarcompany.com to check out great special offers and promotions on cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, motorcycles, crossovers. They've got it all. Go to rbcarcompany.com. Got to talk to you about the NRA well, it's not really an NRA rally. The NRA was there, but a pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment rally happened in Richmond, Virginia. And one interesting bit of information about this, not one rally attendee was arrested. Not one. No violence, nothing. In fact, what we're looking at right now is we're looking at video. I'm just poking around here on Twitter. I've got video of the rally attendees running around and picking up trash after they were done with their event, which, by the way, if you've ever attended a Second Amendment rally, is commonplace for people to do that. We've got members of the media lying about what these people were saying and doing. Even Haaretz, which is a Jewish newspaper, from white supremacists to NRA members. Take a look at who was at the rally today. Weren't any, no white supremacists. There were a couple of infiltrators that were caught. Some interesting footage about that, which I can't play for you because of the language, but some interesting footage from infiltrators who did try to get in there, try to pretend to be NRA members or pro-Second Amendment types, and then yell some racial expletives or call for violence. They were immediately shouted down and run out of the rally. And it was so overwhelming that not even the press can go ahead and distort what happened there. And like I said, leading up to this event for the past couple of weeks, I've been telling people, if you're going to be involved with Virginia at all, you need to make sure that those people who are going to try to bird dog the rally or bird dog this entire issue, that you hold them accountable and you don't let them take the narrative away from you. Again, one of the most beautiful moments, which is to this day my most popular tweet on my new Twitter account, was the moment that the flag of Hong Kong was flying in Richmond, Virginia today. And remember, the people who were being oppressed in Hong Kong and protesting that oppression flew the American flag, and they sang our national anthem in order to show reverence to the United States. There's a lot of pro-Trump people in Hong Kong as well. And to see a flag raised in Hong Kong's honor in Virginia was a beautiful moment and very symbolic, because we've seen people who oppose the Second Amendment traditionally, who don't like guns, see what happened in Hong Kong. We've talked about this in the past, and we talked about it again in the 3 o'clock hour today, where I played far more audio clips from the rally than I'm going to do now. We saw them go, now I kind of understand where the Second Amendment could really help these demonstrators in Hong Kong. Exactly. That's the whole point. That's the point of the Second Amendment, ladies and gentlemen. So to see the flag of Hong Kong flying in Richmond, Virginia was a beautiful moment. It's getting a lot of attention on my Twitter, and I'm appreciative of that, but I didn't even uncover it. I just retweeted somebody else who did it. Katie Pavlich, who was here for our last noise event, joined on stage with Brian Kilmeade and myself. She is now tweeting out that groups are picking up trash off of the roads after the rally is over. And she CC'd the Women's March and Occupy Wall Street and Antifa, etc., even though Occupy is basically the Women's March and Antifa. Now, Steven Crowder, who was at the Women's March over the weekend, he posted video of the Women's March actually engaging in violence. Isn't that interesting? No violence at the Second Amendment rally, but there was violence at the Women's March. What an amazing compare and contrast, isn't it? You had members of the press lie about what actually happened. Dave Martinez, I have no idea who this Dave Martinez person is, just some normal dude on Twitter. But he tweeted to Gabe Gutierrez. Now, Gabe Gutierrez is an NBC News correspondent. He's based in New York. He reports for the Today Show, NBC Nightly News, and MSNBC, okay? So Gabe Gutierrez is a verified Twitter account for NBC, and he tweeted out, chance of we will not comply from gun rights protesters in Richmond. Would you do me a favor, producer Joe? Cue up my audio, please. Does this sound like we will not comply to you? Here we go. All right, so it sounds like the Pledge of Allegiance to me. Yeah, but he's tweeting out, chance of we will not comply from gun rights protesters in Richmond. The problem is that the video is them singing the Pledge of Allegiance. So, again, he's with NBC. The AP, talking about SHOT Show in Las Vegas. Gun companies are gathering for their annual trade show this week in Las Vegas amid slumping gun sales and escalating tensions over gun control efforts. There's no escalating tensions except in Virginia, where the government of Virginia is trying to violate their state and the federal constitution. But beyond that, there is no slumping of gun sales. According to the FBI, in 2019, there was a 3% increase in NICS background checks. That's a 3% increase, not from 2018, but a 3% increase from the previous record set in 2016. So according to the FBI's own numbers, 2019 was the best year for gun sales. December was the second highest month for gun sales in American history, based on the modern systems to keep data, obviously. So the AP wrote a whole fake article about it. You've got numerous other reporters who were caught trying to steer the narrative and try to say things that were completely untrue. They were unable to be able to do that, and people who were there were able to immediately correct the record and prevent them from spreading those lies and those myths. I also wanted to go ahead and play this piece of audio. Please cue it up again for me, Joe. This is a black man who was asked about being at the Second Amendment rally because, again, they keep trying to say that this is about white nationalism and everything else. It wasn't. There's a ton of people there of all different stripes. And so they walked up to this guy and they, why are you here? What's the reason that you're here supporting the Second Amendment today? And there's a lot of that. A lot of the media outlets that did actually cover the event went up to people who are not white and asked them, if they were there for any particular reason, what was their experience like? Do they have any issues, any problems? And they all said that everybody there was great. They didn't see any white supremacy anywhere, nothing. And yet you've got Haaretz, which is, again, a Jewish newspaper running around talking about white supremacists being there, and everybody who was in the rally can't find any. But that's the narrative that they're going with, in spite of the fact that there was absolutely no issues whatsoever. So this is this black gentleman talking, I don't know his name, I apologize, talking about why he is there supporting the Second Amendment in Virginia.
Not supporting in any way, shape, or form Governor Northam's and the Democrats' gun control. What I also don't support is the fact that every news piece you've seen on this weekend, they've always brought up the issue of race, as though it's nothing but white rednecks and hillbillies out here who care for the Second Amendment, when actually black Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans, Americans in general care about the Second Amendment. I work at a gun store part-time, and I can't tell you the number of customers I see of all races, all colors, all creeds, who care about the Second Amendment and who just want to peaceably live their lives, enjoy their rights, and the Second Amendment. So that's why I'm out here. And big media, mainstream media be damned. If you take a good look at me, you can see I'm a black American. And all I'm out here for is to enjoy my Second Amendment rights. That's why I'm here.
Okay, that's it. He's not the only one. There's plenty of video out there of individuals who are not white saying very similar things. And several of them were asked, did you run into any white supremacy or anything like that? They also didn't see a single thing that would indicate that anybody was a white supremacist there. No signs or anything like that. Like I said, early on in the day, there were a couple of infiltrators. Okay, these would be bird doggers, and bird dogging is where you infiltrate another person's group, and then you are going to behave in a way that would discredit that group. So if you want people to believe that this particular group is racist, you yourself will pretend to be racist by pretending to be one of them and shouting racial epithets and things like that in order to discredit the group. There were a couple of attempts to do that early on in the day. They were immediately caught. They were recorded. They were shouted down. They were booted from the rally. They were exposed as who they were. So the media doesn't even have an angle to go here. Now, the latest estimates that we have seen, and we'll see if this number holds up, appears to be about 22,000 or so people attended this rally in Richmond, Virginia. That seems to be a safe estimate based on some of the aerial shots that we have seen, but there is no official count at this point in time. So if you take a look at what's out there, and if you are on social media and you look at the hashtag Virginia Rally, you will see a lot of minorities holding up signs, and there who are armed. The people who open carried outside of the Capitol grounds, because remember they had this fake state of emergency to go ahead and prevent people from carrying firearms. So those who did open carry did so outside of the Capitol grounds, so they were not breaking any laws, even if it was simply a stupid, farcical lie by Governor Northam, which we all know that it was. But if you pay attention to this, there is a ton of people who were not white that were at this rally, and they were all comfortable, and they didn't have any issues. There was no racism to be seen, or that at least that has been reported in any way. And it's good to see that stuff. No threats, no violence, no fights. Not a single rally attendee was arrested again. There was far more violence at the Women's March rally over the weekend. There was far less violence here. No vandalism of any kind. In fact, they're getting together. They're cleaning up trash after the rally was over. Totally peaceful. Totally peaceful. The governor's entire narrative went to kaput. Even had members of the press trying to lie about the rally and what actually happened there, and they all got called out for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot more to cover today. We got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
It's cold outside. Come in for a homemade soup and hot chocolate with whipped cream.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists 5-day forecast.
The snowy and cold weather coming to an end. Fair and slightly milder weather through midweek. The melt begins Tuesday. Sunshine and a high of 32. Back in the 20s Tuesday night. Partly cloudy on Wednesday, 36. Increasing clouds Thursday, 38. And sloppy again on Friday. This round, mostly rain. A high of 40 on Friday. Taking to a winter mix Saturday with a high of 38. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Lewis.
Enjoy Beethoven's Symphony No. 6 and other unique works, including rare instruments like the Chinese tuba with the Southland Symphony Orchestra, Saturday, February 1st. Text the word music to 45364 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to this amazing show today. Don't let winter slow you down. In an all-new Jeep 4x4 from Lock Monday Motors, there is no such thing as a bad road. Get $500 bonus cash on new 2020 Grand Cherokee SUVs, or $500 bonus cash on all in-stock Jeep Renegades, plus an additional $1,000 bonus cash on the 2020 Chrysler Pacifica at Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart. Lock Monday has the largest in-stock selection of trucks and SUVs.
You all right, kid?
No one has better.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna send Mama this. Oh yeah, this does work. You are right, this does work.
Online with the Lock Monday Fastlane online purchase experience,
Mm,
or speak
you know,
with one of the true professionals in person or over the phone. Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart has the entire lineup of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and ProMaster vehicles ready to serve you. See it all right now at LockMonday.com. Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
Remember when you brought your car into that big dealership and found out it would cost a lot to get it
Dude,
repaired?
you gotta be kidding me.
Independent shop and learned you could save
On
some
December
money. Second
31.
Save you money and
I missed a phone call from Shannon. Mama.
Advisor for a second opinion, Howard Bailey
Were you
has
calling
helped
yourself,
over
maybe?
1,000 families craft their retirement
I
roadmap with
don't know.
meaning
Don't
and
know.
purpose.
Because it
So they
says
can
you
spend
missed
more time doing the things they love. And less
Shanna's
time worrying
video
about their
call.
financial security.
December
Call
13th,
866-482-9559 now and schedule a time
1969
visit with our independent
at
team at Howard Bailey. Taking care of
7:59
your financial
p.m.
future. Don't let hidden fees and unnecessary taxes affect your retirement. Call the Howard Bailey team at 866-482-9559 and get a
Oh, yeah, Speed. He had tweeted that the video was of people saying that we will not comply, but it was actually the pledge.
Okay. I don't know if Mom.
Let's say you just bought a house. Bad news is you're one step closer
Dada,
to having your
can you
dreams.
send Mom to go on Messenger on Breeze to say that Breeze sent you a message on Messenger? Can you please say that? I need her.
You need her, huh?
Yeah, I need her to actually go on Messenger because I'm gonna send her something she might not even do. Put surprise boxes everywhere. I don't know, and hide them.
Hide them.
I don't think she's gonna do that, but
You're
I'm
in charge of
gonna
hiring,
ask.
and Indeed has solutions like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right
All right.
hire.
I sent her a message letting her know that you were sending her a message.
What?
Stick to the face.
I sent her a message telling her that you are sending her a message.
But skills tests.
Alrighty.
See why independent research by Silk
There
Road
you
shows
go.
Indeed delivers 3 times
Wait,
more
no,
hires
you're going on the air again?
Post your next job
Yes,
at
honey.
Indeed.com/hire.
No, I need help
Skills
spelling
tests for free.
things.
Sorry, honey.
Okay, I just gotta sound these
Not much I
out.
can do to help you with
You're
that.
never gonna know what I'm gonna say. So I got to have either you say I'm gonna take a little break. You gotta just help me. I need help.
Yeah, you think I can just hop onto the air and say, everybody, I gotta take a little break because Bree needs help spelling, and so I'm not gonna do my show now. You think that works? Or do you think I might get in trouble by my boss? What do you think?
I think you might get in trouble.
You think I might get in trouble?
Okay.
Then I probably shouldn't do it, don't you think?
No.
What if you told your teacher in the middle of a lesson at school that you just needed to take a little break because you had to go do something for Dad? What do you think she would say?
I'm fired.
You're fired? I think she'd probably be a little upset with you, don't you think?
Maybe
Because you probably quit down. That's a good point.
Okay, fine. Get on the air. I'll just test it out.
Mishawaka to get 2 $25 gift certificates for the price of one. Good for the Barnaby's Pizza, located on Grape Road in Mishawaka. Chop down on Michiana's favorite pizza. Plus, Barnaby's also has burgers, wings, a salad bar, and more. Text the word deals to 45364 to text the certificate.
Cassandra Fairbanks, mainstream media is on suicide watch after not getting another Charlottesville.
Mishawaka.com. Mishawaka's morning news is on Twitter. Follow us on
Here we go. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. All right, I want to go ahead and play some audio here. So this is, as impeachment starts tomorrow, the impeachment trial, which, of course, we will continue to cover. There's been video montages circulating around. I've got a 4-minute one here of the Democrats who are in leadership roles in the impeachment fiasco that is happening right now, and what they said about impeachment when it was Bill Clinton, who, by the way, undisputed, undeniable, Bill Clinton actually did break laws. We caught him breaking those laws. He's apologized for breaking those laws. He lost his law license for breaking those laws. People forget about that. And that wasn't even the most heinous things that he's been accused of with evidentiary proof of his actions, by the way. But I wanted to go and play this little montage, just reminding you, Nadler's on here and several other people, including Pelosi and some other bigwigs. You'll recognize most of their voices, but I just want to play for you. This is from an anti-impeachment rally put on by the Rainbow Push Coalition. This is back
during the Clinton impeachment fiasco that was going on there. I just want you to listen to what these same Democrats who are pushing impeachment now had to say back then.
Because he knew quite properly that an impeachment of a president is an undoing of a national election. And one of the reasons we all feel so angry about what they are doing is that they are ripping from us, they are ripping asunder our votes. They are telling us that our votes don't count and that the election must be set aside.
They are driven by hatred. They hate Bill and Hillary Clinton so much they will stop at nothing to bring him down. Oh, but they got another thought coming. They thought that Bill Clinton was just going to fold up his tent and go home. Oh, but Hillary said, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Let me tell you what Hillary said. Hillary said, Bill, you go out there and do the people's business. She said, Bill, I don't care what they say. You go out there, the polls show everywhere. The people like the work that you're doing. You go on out there and do the people's work, and I'll take care of you later. Oh, but Bill Clinton.
Thank you. Today, the Republican majority is not judging the president with fairness, but impeaching him with a vengeance. In the investigation of the president, fundamental principles which Americans hold dear, privacy, fairness, checks and balances, have been seriously violated. And why? Because we are here today because the Republicans in the House are paralyzed with hatred of President Clinton, and until the Republicans free themselves of this hatred, our country will suffer. I rise to oppose these unfair motions which call for the removal of the President of the United States from office, and in doing so wish to point out some differences between the investigation of the President and the investigation of Newt Gingrich. The first principle in our investigation of Newt Gingrich was that at the moment we found exculpatory information, it would be reported immediately to the accused and be made public. The independent counsel knew that the president was exonerated when Travelgate, Whitewater, and Filegate, and he held that information until the hearing, indeed until after the election. This was not fair. Indeed, it is the responsibility of any prosecutor to immediately release information that is exculpatory.
This is their president we are talking about. The President of the United States does not serve at the pleasure of the legislature, does not serve at the pleasure of Joe Biden, does not serve at the pleasure of Henry Hyde, does not serve at the pleasure of the Congress, as a prime minister does in a parliamentary system. He is elected directly by the people of the United States of America. And the election of a president is the only nationwide vote the American people will ever cast. And that's a big deal. The American people don't think that they have made a mistake by electing Bill Clinton. And we in Congress had better be very careful before we upset their decision. And make darn sure that we are able to convince them, if we decide to upset their decision, that our decision to impeach him was based upon principle and not politics.
Not about politics, huh? Mm-hmm. So those are all the same. By the way, how about that line from Maxine Waters? Should have seen the live stream blow up in that. I think you even blushed a little bit there, Joe. But hey, you know, she's still there. She's still in office, still doing her thing. And you gotta give her that, I guess. We got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana.
Okay, what is it, honey? What'd you need?
I need help with the word hidden.
H-I.
Hang on, let me get I.
D-D.
A third of those people are
between the ages of 25 and 49, according to numbers provided by
Got
the Indiana
DD.
State Department of Health.
Ian.
Flu activity nationwide is down for the second straight week,
Hidden.
still considered widespread in Indiana, with health officials recommending you get a flu shot if you
Hidden.
haven't already and aren't
Okay.
allergic.
Got it?
Got it?
I got HIDDEN.
H-I-D-D-E-N.
Okay.
You good? Are you good?
No.
No? What's going on?
I don't know how to spell the word lots.
Lot?
Lots.
Like lots of things?
Yeah, like lots of some boxes with.
What do you think it starts with?
I don't know, an L.
What is, yeah, an L. Okay.
Wait.
You guys put space. All right, so an L. And then what's lots? What do you think comes after L? Sound it out.
O.
Yep.
T.
Uh-huh.
S.
Yep.
Wow. Looks like I'm good. Now I gotta go to the bathroom.
President Trump's legal team today calling his Senate impeachment trial a perversion of the Constitution.
The president's lawyers believe that the articles of impeachment presented by House Democrats are constitutionally deficient on their face. The theories underpinning them would do lasting damage to the separation of powers under the Constitution and to our structure of government.
Watch Kevin Ford at the White House. The president won't be in the country on the Senate impeachment trial begins tomorrow. He's about to leave for the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Chinese officials confirming the first human-to-human transmission of a mysterious virus that's killed at least 3 and sickened hundreds.
The virus appears to have originated in the central city of Wuhan. Spreading to Thailand and Japan. Those cases involving recent travel to China.
America is listening to Fox News.
She'd probably mispronounce it before she learned how to spell it.
Hey, I'm really hungry. I know, let's go to the front table. It's really good.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Clouds break this evening and temperatures will fall off into the teens between 15 and 20 overnight. Clouds clear into Tuesday. A sunny day, especially by the afternoon, and a rebound to the freezing mark. A high of 32 starting to slow melt with quiet weather through midweek. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
U.S. stock and bond markets were closed today in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday overseas, where stocks edged lower on concern that UK business if the British government adopts a different set of regulations. And after the closing bell on Tuesday, all eyes will be on Netflix, the company giving investors their first look at how its subscriber trends are faring in a more competitive environment when it reports fourth quarter earnings. The company that pioneered the business of on-demand streaming entertainment is now dealing with other players in the space, including Disney Plus, Peacock, and HBO Max. Netflix stock has been flat over the past year. And IBM is also due to release quarterly earnings after the closing bell on Tuesday. Its shares have underperformed the market in the past year. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Marie Varsky, invested in you.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Comcast Business can help take your business beyond with amazing solutions and great deals.
AOC, why were there almost no police officers? They had friggin' riot police there, but whatever.
Downtown Alfred, and I want to buy your old jewelry, your silver flatware, your silver plate, your gold and silver coins, your platinum and diamonds. You may not realize that the gold and silver are at a 5-year high. So now is a great time to look through your dress drawers, your closets, and all those other places you've been keeping things to pass on someday to your children. Because shocking as it may seem to you, they really don't want your old gold
Dada,
jewelry.
how do we spell toys?
And with the money
How do you think, babe?
Oh my gosh, I know how to spell toys.
you can
Yeah, you know, you're asking me things that you already know how to spell.
T-O-Y-S.
Cash in your pocket to spend any way you want.
Y-N-S.
H&H
Okay.
Gold Buyers at 221 North
Toys.
Main Street, across from McDonald's in beautiful downtown Elkhart.
At Capital One, you can open a new savings account in about 5 minutes and earn 5 times the national average. Banking with Capital One means 5 times the savings to help pay for your perfect honeymoon. 5 times the savings toward your family's perfect vacation. It's time to help make your savings goals come true. This is Banking Reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. Free comparison based on FDIC national rates. Capital One and member FDIC.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy intimacy, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in boric acid. Just take 1 capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
Yeah.
And get 11% off everything at Menards. Choose from our great selection of Mohawk vinyl flooring. Vinyl block flooring adds style to any room. It's waterproof and easily clicks together. Natural wood look. Home Expressions vinyl block is just $195 a square foot after 11% off. Sale prices are good through Saturday, January 25th. Savings are available even. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Doors are opening across Indiana with new careers, opportunities, and adventures, creating an exciting future in the Hoosier State. And the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority wants to help you open the door to your first home with its homebuyer program to make homeownership much more affordable. Cement your future at home in Indiana with down payment assistance from IHCDA. For more information, visit homeownership.in.gov.
This message is sponsored by the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority and this station.
All right, here we go.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your friendly neighborhood radio host, Casey Hendrickson. We want to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company. Go to their website, rbcarcompany.com, for great specials and promotional offers on cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, crossovers, and more. rbcarcompany.com. So the Supreme Court going to be taking a look at the Electoral College. Now, the Electoral College is, of course, here to prevent tyranny. That's what unfortunately, the schools don't teach that anymore. They don't understand how the Electoral College works. Now, more and more, what is happening is politicians are trying to control the Electoral College instead of allowing the Electoral College to do what it was designed to do, and that is a problem. So the Supreme Court on Friday did decide that 2 cases could forever change how American presidents are elected. The central question that the Supreme Court will answer is this: are electors, members of the Electoral College, now they're the ones who cast their actual vote for the president, okay? You don't. You basically are providing a guide for them, but they're the ones who cast the vote for the president and vice president. Are they bound to follow their state's popular vote results, or are electors free to vote as they see fit? Now, of course, generally speaking, they are free to vote how they see fit. Okay, that's the whole point of the Electoral College, to prevent a tyranny. In Chiafalo, 3 Washington state electors were each fined $1,000 after the 2016 election because they did not cast their electoral vote for Hillary Clinton, who won their state's popular vote. They voted for Colin Powell instead. In Baca, the state of Colorado completely tossed elector Michael Baca's vote because he voted for former Ohio Governor John Kasich, not Clinton, who won Colorado's popular vote. Although so-called faithless electors have only been a footnote in American electoral history so far, the monumental constitutional case could have significant implications on the 2020 election. Ultimately, the Supreme Court will decide whether Electoral College electors are independent and therefore allowed to vote consistent with their conscience, or whether state laws mandating electors follow their state's popular vote are legally permissible. So the oral arguments in the case are going to be very, very interesting. We expect those to happen in the spring, okay? This is going to be a massive case. And obviously, there's a huge move for the popular vote movement in the United States. It's not the most popular thing in the world. It's just that, there is a big push for this. It used to be Republicans that would push for it. And back in the day, they had the popular vote. Now it's the Democrats that are pushing it. So everything is kind of flipped. They were both wrong. Okay? You're not supposed to have a popular vote in a representative republic. That is the whole point of having apportionment. So when you see these people running around on social media going, my vote in New York should count as much or more than somebody's vote in Montana, and it's not fair. Well, that's what apportionment is for, you dweebus. That's the whole point of having it. But the Electoral College is obviously here to prevent a tyranny. The founders, if you read the Federalist Papers, they make this very, very clear. They go into why the Electoral College exists, what the dangers are of having a popular vote. They go through all of it. And it is exactly why the process is the way that it is. And trying to control those electors. And by the way, if you want to control them, they're elected in their state. So you control that little election for the electors, and then you don't have the problems later on with them going rogue on you. But generally speaking, they are allowed to vote their conscience. That's who elects the president and the vice president, not you. It's really that simple. You have no right to vote for the president or the vice president of the United States. That's not a constitutional right that you are given. Anyway, we got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
On your radio at 95.3.
Yo!
I have to start it all over.
Why?
Because something weird happened.
Something weird happened? All right, let's look at it.
Because the line went the wrong place and then it was so.
All right, so what are you trying to say? Can you just tell me?
I can't remember.
Okay, calm down. Calm down. Look at me. Okay. I know you're frustrated, okay? But it's not something to cry over, alright? So you gotta get a hold of yourself. It's frustrating when you type something out and it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, you need to stop now because I'm gonna listen to me. I'm gonna go on the air here soon, and you can't do that when I'm talking, okay? And it's not worth your tears anyway, honey. It's a small little.
It is worth my tears.
No, it's not. It's a small little thing, and I know it's annoying.
It's not small. It's a huge sentence.
What were you trying to tell her? What's the general gist? You were going to send her a message for some reason. So what was it? What was it?
I can't remember. Can. Right?
Can. What? Just tell me what you're trying to say. You don't have to have it word for word. But what were you trying to ask her?
No, I need to write the whole sentence.
Can you just tell me what you're trying to say, not word for word, so we can get this done, please?
Can you?
Can you what? What are you trying to say?
Just say you. Can you?
Okay, Bree, I'm going to unplug this, and I'm going to put it away if you don't help me
No,
out
I said can you.
Can you is right there.
Okay.
What are you trying to ask? Just tell me in general what you're trying to ask. Are you trying to ask her for something?
Buy.
To buy what?
Say buy.
What are you trying to ask her? If you don't tell me this time, I'm going to take this away. What are you trying to ask her to do for you?
So you promise to say bye? Bye?
Yes, you got to tell me what you're doing first, and I'm running out of time. So you need to stop now. You need to cooperate.
Lots of toys.
Okay, why are you asking your mom to buy you lots of toys?
Say it.
Can you buy lots of toys? Why are you asking her to do that?
Because I need to do something about it.
Okay, you just had Minecraft bought for you, and you had your ears done. Okay?
It's not my fault. You're making me sad.
I'm not making you sad. I didn't do anything.
Because you wouldn't put buy.
I have it on there. Can you buy lots of toys? I have that whole thing on there. What I'm addressing is why you're asking.
In.
With so many vehicles, we are running out of places to park. We have a tremendous offering of new Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Buick, and GMC models.
I'm running out of time, Bree.
Lots of boxes. Make sure you hide them.
Can you buy lots of toys in boxes and hide them? Why do you want them hidden? You trying to play a game?
Yeah.
Using that money as a down payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving something newer or better than you are right
Okay,
now.
what kind are you doing? Like a video? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Employees alike. That's why so many of us have been
Can you buy lots of toys and boxes and hide them? Okay, that good?
No.
Click.
And put them in a box and wrap them.
Okay.
And wrap them.
Welcome to Silver Birch of Mishawaka, a different kind of affordable assisted living community. At Silver Birch, we seek to serve those who are most vulnerable.
Okay.
Those that are 55 years and
Okay.
older who live on a limited.
Can we send it now?
Our homes are designed
Wait, let you read it.
Can you buy lots of toys and boxes and wrap them and hide them?
one-bedroom options that are available now.
Yes.
Our goal is that everyone can afford quality of life. All apartments are private.
It's been sent. Okay. So if mom sees it, she'll respond. Okay. But again, I know it's frustrating when your text disappears. You probably just accidentally highlighted it and then pressed another button.
I did not.
I'm not saying you did it on purpose, honey. I'm saying it
There,
probably just
okay,
did it
look,
funny.
I write it. You have to have a sentence, and then the line went out of the sentence. And then it goes on our problem.
I understand.
You don't know what I mean.
Honey, I understand. I'm just saying it's not your fault. It's this thing. I know it's frustrating, okay, but it's fixed now.
I don't even know what I mean.
Sweetie, I get it. It happens to me too. Okay, I get it. When you're typing a bunch of stuff and it disappears because there's a glitch. Okay, I get it. I understand.
It did not disappear. I erased it because it was wrong.
Okay, but there's no reason to get frustrated about it. Now, no more crying. I'm gonna finish my show now. Enough. Then you need to leave.
No.
Quiet or leave.
No.
Then quiet.
Okay, I'll try.
She's hungry.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. All right, some of the stuff we've got going on here. Oh yeah, that's right. I went to do the story about the assessors. So the local assessors' offices. Now, these are the ones that dictate your property values. Okay, and apparently. Oh, this article's not opening. That's why. I tried to open it up on my show prep, and for some reason, it would not open. That's the problem. So, all right. So, I got to search this up. Sorry, it's in my show prep, and I had to deal with a little meltdown with my daughter here just a second ago. All right. So, Indiana, assessors. All right. So there is a proposal here that would wipe out the assessors. Now, recently, I forget which election it was, but recently, you all voted to keep the assessors' offices in your area, right? So the assessors have been wiped out through most of the state of Indiana, but you guys voted to keep the assessors in certain areas. And now, as a result, it looks like they are passing a bill that would eliminate the township assessor's position statewide. And there's only 13 of them left, but they're looking to get rid of them statewide, which, of course, will impact property value assessments and things of that nature. And people are, I think, rightfully upset because in 2008, they voted to keep many of them. And as a result, you should be able to keep them. And now the legislature is once again basically saying, well, we don't care what the voters want. We want to get rid of them. We'll talk a little bit more about this later in the week. It's now time for the O'Reilly Update.
All right, folks, I'm going to bounce out of here. Obviously, got an upset kid who's really hungry, and we need to go get her some food. So I am going to bounce, but thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And again, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe or follow if you haven't done so already.